Right, we are here again, PFS, Pro Football Smart. I need to keep saying that. Seahawks, second day of the draft, Google Hangout with myself and Ken. How are we there, Ken?
I'm doing good, hoping the connection stays consistent, and I'm a little surprised by the start of this draft.
Yeah, the second round just started off. Landon Collins made a bit of sense, more sense the more you thought about it, but it's TJ Eldon ahead of Abdullah and Duke Johnson. Would you have thought that pre-draft?
No way. And Tevin Coleman too. He's still on the board out of Indiana. So
yeah, but hasn't he got? He's got injury red flags, medical red flags, isn't he? Is that Coleman who's got the red flags?
He might be, but I'm still a huge fan of his athletic ability. I think he's going to be coming back just fine.
Yeah, but so I guess if you think about TJ Eldon, he obviously Gus Bradley came from Seattle with Marshawn Lynch, and he he's probably a bit different to Marshawn, but he could be a similar kind of tone setter for that team where Gerhardt just didn't pan out as they hoped last year, did he? So
no, not at all.
It makes a lot of sense.
Did you see Donovan Smith going 34th?
I did, yeah. A bit disappointed. I had him in the fourth round, and I'm what we did the other night. So
yeah,
never mind.
It's quite a jump because Jake Fisher's still on the board. TJ Clemmings too.
It is. I think both of you might have mentioned on our last hangout that you thought you'd go early, but did you obviously forgetting who hasn't gone? Would you say before the 40s was how early you'd expect, or is it early? For
Smith, I think I had him still available in the third round. Actually, I was thinking early third round because there were so many offensive linemen rated ahead of him. So I thought he might be a steal for the Seahawks, but I guess the Buccaneers are seeing great value in him for just a second pick of the second round. Yeah,
it does make a lot of sense though, because if you get your quarterback, you need to protect him, and that O-line was an issue last year with obviously did have a great quarterback and didn't have much of a running game, but with him on board now, it's a decent start to Tampa Bay. Maybe they are actually starting to turn it around.
They have addressed their top two needs.
They probably have, yeah. And they've still got McCoy still knocking around, and they paid him big bucks. Mm-hmm. So the trenches is. I think the Cowboys, the 49ers probably started it a few years ago when they drafted Patty and Davis and Staley. Obviously, the Cowboys have gone similar, and it looks like teams are doing just that this year. What did you make of the first round? Obviously, being a Badger yourself, I guess Marvin Gordon going to San Diego was
It was fun. As soon as the Chargers made a trade around 15, I thought they want Gordon badly, and so I had the tweet all ready to go out congratulating him as soon as they made the selection. So that was a pretty fun time just here on campus with all my other Badger friends. So we were pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, was there any kind of like party or get together on campus, or was it just?
I mean, all the bars are filled. I know Buffalo Wild Wings, which is fairly close, is always packed on draft night.
Yeah. So is that buzz still palpable today with Marvin? Because he's already in San Diego, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's this isn't going to be a fantastic draft for the Wisconsin University. So Gordon's our main highlight this year.
So who's possibly drafted Badger?
The other one, probably Rob Havenstein, right tackle. I've heard tell that the Ravens might try for him in the third or fourth round. Not really sure about that, but just nothing really stand out about him. I kind of think about him like I did about Gabe Carimi a few years ago. Not sure if he's going to make a huge splash in the NFL, but kind of built similarly and just that solid anchor at the tackle spot. No real versatility there.
Yeah. So with the Seahawks, obviously there's been a bit of talk with Ian Rappaport tweeting out that we're one of the 3 or 4 or 5 teams who are talking about a trade up. firstly, do you see it as a possibility? And secondly, who would you think they would be looking to move up for? Because I think Miami with the team, Omar Kelly was tweeting that they were talking to each other a few hours ago. So
yeah, I saw that similarly. Miami wants to trade down, and we're looking at trading up.
Yeah. So who would you see they would be going after? Fisher, maybe.
Maybe Fisher. I think I'm thinking Schneider wants to get after Dorial Green Beckham, who's still on the board.
He dug deep on him, didn't he?
He just fits exactly what the Seahawks need on offense, and I mean, all these slot receivers are going in ahead of him, probably because of the off-field issues, which is great for the Seahawks because I mean, 6'6", he's an absolute mammoth and fantastic target.
Yeah, I absolutely adored DGB. I mean, obviously the off-field stuff is probably a bit strong to say adore with all the stuff he got up to off the field and the reasons he kicked off the Missouri team, but I think Stoops has gone to bat for him at Oklahoma. I mean, a player who went against his word, really, because I think he said he wasn't going to declare. He was going to play 2015 for the Sooners. So it's, but look, the talent is there. The tape, as I said the other night, the Kentucky tape is absolutely phenomenal to watch.
Absolutely, and Seahawks have the picks that they can afford to give away this year.
They have the picks, and 2 or 3 of them. They really, you can see them picking 8 or 9 times, and maybe not even some of them will make the 53 come the end of August. So, what do you make of that pick for Devin Smith to the Jets?
They have a couple of taller receivers with Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker. I mean, it's a good speed threat with Devin Smith, especially since Dorsett's already off when he was picked 29.
It makes a ton of sense. I think that's a really. It's a decent spot for him. It's a pretty good fit. I mean, if they don't draft a quarterback, Geno Smith has no excuses really now.
Yeah, he has a really good arsenal around him. Maybe not as good as like what Andrew Luck now has around him, but
yeah. And also they have the tight end, don't they? They have Amaro who last year. The AFC East is
it's going to be one heck of a division for sure.
Hopefully, because it's been a bit of procession for 5 or 6 years, isn't it? Really, I know the Jets got them a couple of times with Sanchez. Yeah. So go back to the Seahawks. Obviously, yesterday was a bit of a buzz about Bruce Irvin. They're not picking up his option, but they want to talk to him, keep him anyway. But then there was talk of the Falcons looking to trade for the hometown boy. That need probably was negated a little bit with them picking Vic Beasley at 8. Firstly, what do you think of them not picking the option? And secondly, do you think they will look to trade him?
I mean, it's a very costly option for 2016. We still have a bunch of big contracts that we need to dish out, and near $8 million for a guy whose role isn't exactly solidified. You don't really know where he's going to line up on each play. It just seems like a little much. I still love his ability. I love his playmaking talent. So maybe they can work out a deal. But I know he's going to be a hot commodity. Even though like teams like the Falcons are getting their ideal pass rushers, you can never have enough. So if they get a good offer for Bruce Irvin, I'd say they can go ahead and take that.
There was top pick, I think, for a while.
What's that, Stuart? I didn't catch you.
There was talk of the pick in question, the price being their second round pick, which is just going up. So it doesn't look like anything's happening with Atlanta right now. But it could be. It makes a lot of sense with Dan Quinn there, obviously. So it could be something to watch between now and the start of the season, especially if they draft the pass rusher, which is a possibility because Frank Clark's been linked quite heavily in certain avenues today, isn't he, as well? So
yeah, another one of those guys with off-field issues. So
and his interview at the combine was alarming.
It really was. It was very off-putting for a ton of people.
Yeah, I know DGB's had similar. He's got a similar background, but the way DGB is dealt with it and the way people talk about DGB seems to be a bit different to how Clark dealt with it. Or there at 38.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. What do you think the Redskins do at 38?
Well, they went with Sheriff 5th overall. I would have wanted them to take Leonard Williams, so I really hope they go pass rush here. I'm not really sure if they want to go the Randy Gregory route. I mean, Brian Orakpo's gone. It's a very big hole to fill, and so if you roll the dice with his drug issues, he may turn out to be a good player. You could also go Preston Smith, Mississippi State.
Yeah. I think that might be where they go. If they don't, Gregory maybe else, because they did address the D line quite heavily in free agency, didn't they? They got, who did they sign? They signed a few.
They got
is it Jean-Francois they signed from the Colts?
Maybe I think definitely Terrence Knighton, though, formerly of the Broncos.
Yeah, I think that's because Scott McCaughlin's there now, isn't he? So there'll be a lot of Seahawks. Well, obviously they signed Jaron Johnson as well, so
yes,
that probably rules out someone like Jaquiski Tartt right here. So I mean, in free agency, I thought the Redskins nailed it, to be honest.
Yeah, they did a good job. They were very aggressive and really addressed needs early. They haven't really taken a passive route.
No. I mean, and also they didn't do what the Redskins have done in the past and overspent on either mediocre or players on the decline, Albert Hainsworth. So, I mean, I know a couple of Redskins fans, not personally, but I've talked to a few, and they were, one, quite happy, and two, quite surprised and quite excited that maybe it's a change of direction with McLaughlin in the building now. But yeah, so still no Russell Wilson. Do you still see it coming soon? But what do you see with the Russell Wilson situation? It hasn't really changed since we last spoke, but do you feel any differently about it?
I mean, not really. I think just to focus on the draft, that's the team priority. I'm sure Russell Wilson's not knocking on Schneider's door asking like, hey, let's talk about this 24/7.
There was a brief moment last night when on the live feed that Seahawks.com's running where Schneider got off the phone and high-fived, and the guy tweeted, he's high-fived, there's a trade coming, then nothing happened. So they must have got a really good deal at Domino's or Papa John's, maybe.
But I guess so.
Yeah, here comes the Redskins selection on my end. I don't know if it's come through on yours.
Yeah, Goodell's introducing their spokesman.
Easley's doing our picks, isn't he, today? Is it Kenny?
Yes, I believe that. Yep, I believe that's right.
The original Cam Chancellor, isn't he?
Absolutely. All right, Redskins go Preston Smith.
Preston Smith, nice. That is a nice pick. Preston Smith is someone I watched. I wasn't going to write a drafting Seahawks piece, but never got around to it. His technique with his hands is consistently impressive. It's he has things that he has to be coached up on, obviously, but if you get him in space and he latches on, it could be game over more often than not. Did you watch much of Preston Smith?
Probably not as much as you. From what I've seen, pretty aggressive motor. I've seen him get stood up a little bit, so I'd like him to be a little bit more forward in his rushing ability.
Yeah, he did seem to be on the ground a little bit, which is probably why he's fouled. I mean, it's not foul, but he's fouled to 38. It's probably because there were times where, like right there, he's on the floor. He makes an unbelievable play there, but he was on the floor. He would get pushed on the floor, and but like I said, his use of his hands. I mean, I think he had one of some of the bigger hands at the combine for the position, so it is quite impressive. I really do like that pick. But they're a 3-4. The Redskins are a 3-4, right?
Yeah, they are. So maybe his what is he, like 270, 275 pounds, something like that?
Yeah.
If they want him to be like a 4 technique taking on a tackle, he might need to get a little bit more poundage on him.
Yeah, but also maybe you could, in certain packages like we do with Bruce, you could probably put him outside a little bit and just letting rip at the tackles and stuff. Well, we'll get to after the Chicago pick, but what did you think of our NFC West rivals first rounds? Obviously, it was Todd Gurley, is it Armstead, the Niners? I can't remember who the Cardinals selected. It was a tackle, wasn't it?
Yeah, they took DJ Humphries.
Yeah. What did you make of those picks and those selections? Todd Gurley was a bit of a surprise at 10.
Yeah, Gurley going at 10 I thought was a little bit early. I know that I was impressed by Trey Mason last year, so I don't think Gurley's going to be an every down back right away because Mason had a good showing last year. So I think it was a little early for them to be addressing running back when they could have gone offensive line which is what I thought they were going to do. But he's still a freak of nature, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, with Mason looking now as he did, it makes don't have to rush Gurley through as other teams probably were going to. So it's a pretty nice position to be in, if not, like you say, a little early for Gurley. Eric Armstead makes so much sense. He's replaced McDonald or Justice Smith with that
Absolutely.
pick. He probably does exactly the same. It's not going to change how they play defense. It made Tom Sula gets his maybe even the piece to build their defense around for Tom Sula. So it made a lot of sense. Humphries, what did you make of that pick?
I mean, by that point, I was a little bit tired of all the offensive tackles going in this first round, and I was hoping, Gurley would actually fall to them because I'd love to see what they could do with Gurley as a running back and just make the rivalry between the Seahawks and the Cardinals even more ferocious and intense. Yeah. But, Humphries is a guy whose draft stock increased a little bit later on, approaching the draft. So, initially he was slated as second round, maybe late first. And I was hoping they'd take someone like Eli Harold if Gurley was off the board too, just to maintain that pass rushing ability that Todd Bowles was doing last year. But, I mean, they got Upati from the 49ers now with Humphries, just better protection for Carson Palmer and letting that passing game air out. Yeah.
Well, according to Twitter, it hasn't been announced yet, the Rams have traded up and selected the Titans. The dream is over. DGB is a Tennessee Titan.
Really? That's disappointing. That is disappointing. I was just hoping we could hang on.
Yeah. He's probably gone 5 or 10 picks before you would probably expect him to move up. Preston Smith has gone, so that's another player that Seahawks probably look to move up for. But there is one player still out there, isn't there? Jake Fisher's still out there.
Jake Fisher is still out there for sure.
Unless that's who the Rams have taken. But the Tennessee Titans have taken DGB.
And, for the Seahawks, you could still go Ty Sambrailo or Ronis Grasu.
Ty Sambrailo said Seahawks were the only team to work him out at center as well, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And he's versatile, which Tom Cable loves, absolutely adores. So, yeah, I'm just disappointed right now, to be honest. It's been a 4-month. Obviously, if he gets arrested before the first game of the season, the disappointment will fade. But yeah.
So is it for sure on your end? Because
it's just on Twitter. I don't know if it's people adding up things, but it's on Twitter.
It would make a lot of sense. I know.
And like we said, with Winston getting his protection, Mariota's got a weapon now with also a Kendall Wright there as well.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully the Titans with Ken Wisenhut's system, maybe they see a turnaround themselves.
Yeah. What did you make of Eddie Goldman going to the Bears?
I mean, they're always predicated towards building their defensive line. I know they went heavy in free agency and committed a lot of money. So I think this is a nice, cheaper option going through the draft this time around. Goldman's a guy who I thought would go first round, maybe around 23 to the Lions before they traded their pick. So it's a nice pickup for them. He's going to be a force in the middle.
Yeah, what did you make of what the Lions did last night? Because they obviously traded back. They picked up Manny Ramirez. They've got Larry Walford already in place, and then they draft Laken Tomlinson, which is another guard. So Do you think they see Walford or Tomlinson playing at right tackle, or is Tomlinson someone who could be eased along a little bit next year, maybe? Because Manny Ramirez is, what, 33, 34?
Yeah, Ramirez is getting up there. I mean, a good veteran presence, but you do want to go younger. So I guess I could justify their taking second-round pick Tomlinson in the first round. But I'm still looking at their defensive front and seeing glaring holes right there. So while it makes sense for them to get some better protection for Matthew Stafford, even though he's bound to make several mistakes a game, I'd want them to prioritize defense a little more than what they've been doing here.
The Ramirez part of it until later on when I was like scrolling through Twitter and stuff, and it popped up. I was like, well, that's it. Why didn't they go Malcolm Brown if they're going to get two guards, especially in the first round? Obviously, you can get someone like Shaq Mason in the second or third as well. So it was a strange one.
It really was. I mean,
Ramirez. I mean, Tomlinson's a good player. I really do like him. He's a mauler. He's a little bit like James Carpenter when you watch him, obviously through Seahawk eyes. But yeah, first round after you just picked up a guard in a trade who's serviceable, even if it's just for a year, you could. It's. I mean, again, like we said earlier, it's teams building the trenches up in the first round. It's something the Rams are doing on the D line, and obviously the Niners and Cowboys doing on the A line. It seems to be just like 6'2" cornerbacks going earlier than they used to. O-line and D-line players going seems to be the new trend. And the Panthers have traded up to the Rams and give up 3 picks.
Wow.
So that's at 41. So who do you think the Panthers? Do you reckon it's lineman? Maybe Fisher? We've been saying that.
Maybe Fisher or TJ Clemmings. One of those two.
Yeah.
Just to steady their ground game, make sure the holes keep opening up.
Yeah. I think the Titans pick is just coming out. I think it's DGB. Eastern Washington.
Oh,
it
just hurts.
Damn.
It just hurts to see it read aloud and next to the Titans logo. But it's such a good pick for them.
He's 6'5". Holy crap! So, with Green Beckham on the board, does that rule out wide receiver in the second round? Do you think at any point
for the Seahawks?
I think that rules out in the second round anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I could see maybe Devin Funchess if he's still hanging around.
What do you make of Devin Funchess? What position did you see him in the NFL?
Yeah, seeing Funchess in the Big Ten, I'd see him make a couple of noteworthy drops, and route running isn't bad, but it could get a lot better. But he's still a big target in space. But I don't know if you go with him in the second round just because Jimmy Graham's going to be that guy in the seams, that big target. And Funchess is more of a project. So I think offensive line is going to be.
You've got Luke Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about cornerback? Do you think? I really like Alex Carter from Stanford. He just seems to perfectly fit what the Seahawks asked their DBs to do. And at 63, which sounds like it's going to be now, maybe. What do you think?
What do I think of Alex Carter?
Yeah,
you're right. He does fit the mold, and another one of those Stanford products that the Seahawks would love to have. I mean, with them going with Kerry Williams in free agency, though, it kind of solidifies that Legion of Boom, and with him going in the second round, it'd be more of a future pick, and I'd like a little bit more immediacy in the second round. One guy who could immediately start and be an impact player, which is why I really hope they go offensive line.
Yeah. Again, so I don't know what the Panthers are doing. If Fish is still there, and when it comes to Miami, which is what 5 or 6 picks away, Jake Fisher in Seattle with his versatility, that would be fun.
It's definitely
that would
ideal.
Be a lot of fun. Yeah, left guard, would that be where you plug in? Obviously, with Sweezy in place, you probably would, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Sweezy's got his position locked up. I think he's been brilliant.
Yeah. It's just, I think with Fisher, I think if you get Fisher, you are probably putting your faith in Britt, maybe, because I've been question marks about maybe moving him inside. You've got Kate. I mean, left guard's been a bit of an issue for a while. I know Carpenter kind of probably papered over the cracks a little last year, but obviously when Cable called me, he bought Robert Gallery with him, and that never really panned out. McQuiston, who was terrible for the most part, especially towards the end of his Seahawks time. Obviously, you got Alvin Bailey, who they seem to urging for him to cut down the weight. Fisher's athletic like Unger was, which I think wasn't Unger drafted as a kid originally as well.
I believe so.
So the Oregon O-lineman, also with Grassu, who we mentioned the other day, the Oregon O-linemen do make a lot of sense in Seattle with how Cable likes to firstly coach them up and how the running game runs under Cable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm trying to gauge the gap between time here. Is the Panthers pick been announced yet?
Not on my end. I'm still looking at an old
same here. No, so we're just going back to. So you're on the ESPN on the NFL Network. That's going to be. Yes, we're probably going to get different pictures, but. So with. I mean, the Rams again are collecting draft picks, and I think that's what the graphic said. I think that said picks that the Rams took in that trade. So again, they are looking at it again, but they didn't really do much with the picks they got. They didn't really make a step up with the Griffin picks, did they? So do you think it's this year or never for Fisher in St. Louis?
I've been a fan of Jeff Fisher throughout his time as head coach of the Titans. I thought he was a good selection to bring over to St. Louis and help turn him around. I don't think you bail on him after this year. I mean, the Rams have been so close, but I think it's just been that faith they put in Sam Bradford and his continued proneness to get injured. It's just really handcuffed their offense because their defense is looking really, really good. They play the Seahawks extremely tough. And I'm actually looking at the Rams for a couple, NFC West division upsets this year. Still might not get better. And 9-7 seems like their ceiling.
Yeah.
But they're on the rise. I wouldn't give up on Fisher.
No, but it's his team now, isn't it? With Bradford out of town now, Foles is in place. He's got his running back. Obviously, I know they drafted Mason last year, but he's got all of his players now. It's no longer like a holdover team. It's now his team, and I think this could be, if they go 8-8 again or 7-9 with the team they've got, with the D line they've got, with fairly long Donald, Quinn, Laurinaitis. They've got Barron and Janoris Jenkins, obviously. But that defense is all the pieces are there, and if you don't get over the hump with that defense and with the amount of picks you look like you're going to have in this draft, then I think questions should start to be asked of Jeff Fisher to go, because he hasn't been to the playoffs for donkeys.
Yeah.
So, but the Panthers selection, here we go. Is this when the Jake Fisher dream dies?
Offensive line does seem like the most obvious selection for them here.
Yeah, especially with DGB, they could have gone DGB and put it on Benjamin. That would have been unfair with Calvin, really. But
Okay.
you're ahead of me. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Devin Funchess.
With Greg Olsen, so they must see him as a wide receiver.
They must, because Greg Olsen, that tight end position is his.
Yeah, and didn't they re-up him this offseason as well?
They did.
Wow, I did not. That makes wow. I did not see that pick coming.
Still no offensive line.
No, they just seem. Maybe Michael Owens changed his DNA. Oh, okay, is Byron Bell still in Carolina? Bruce Irvin ate his dinner, didn't he? In the divisional game.
He did.
6'4", 230. So they've got. That's the Carolina now is a bit like what Tampa Bay had last year now, isn't it? With Safarian Jenkins, Mike Evans, and Vincent Jackson. It's a basketball team.
That's a good point.
And
Don't know if it'll translate though.
Yeah, it didn't really work out very well, but Cam Newton's a better quarterback than Glennon and McCown probably. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I did not. That's not a pick I saw coming. He made a lot of sense to Atlanta probably with no tight end in sight in Atlanta since Gonzalez walked off into the sunset. So that's a surprise pick. Another surprise pick in the second round. So carry on. Sorry.
No, it's just I was just going to say that the first round, for the most part, is mainly par for the course. I mean, when I was looking at all the picks, I usually had the right position that they were going to go after, just maybe not the right person. And now, the second round, people are jumping around, they're trading, they're surprising me. I mean, it's a good change of pace.
Yeah. What did you see the Falcons doing at 40? Oh, that was quick. Pick is in already.
Is it?
Look at the start of that second round. TJ Yeldon to Jacksonville. Mario Edwards before Eddie Goldman. I wouldn't have had that this time yesterday. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Right.
So where do you think the Falcons go? Do you think they defense again and give Dan Quinn some toys?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, with a couple of tight ends on the board that they could use, Matt Ryan got along really well with Tony Gonzalez, and you'd love to give him a big target. So maybe Max Williams here out of Minnesota.
Maybe. So is Williams your number one ahead of Wolford and Koyak and all the rest of them? Yeah.
Yeah, Williams is my top guy. Got to see him firsthand going up against the Badgers, and solid hands. Has good leaping ability actually for a tight end, and could be an asset for Matt Ryan.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they've obviously got Reddy White, and they've got Julio Jones, so maybe another big wide receiver, not a tight end, because Reddy White obviously is probably in the Indian summer of his career. So, but I think defense here, maybe a safety, maybe Tart or pass rush again, because they do need pass rush. That pass rush has been pretty bad since John Abraham left.
It has. It's not like Vic Beasley alone is going to answer all their problems.
No. I mean, Dan Quinn's good, but he's not that good. So, what about the UCLA kid here, Adigizua? Do you think that's a fit?
Which kid out of UCLA?
Adigizua.
That is a good fit on the line. Yeah, for sure. Just adding to that pass rush.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, Kendricks is still out there as well, isn't he?
I was just going to say.
Yeah. This draft has been a bit strange. Until the Seahawks start picking and everything makes sense.
Absolutely.
So Falcons are selected. So Houston, if they were interested in Gordon, do you think they go Johnson?
Possibly. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what the Texans are going to do.
They don't need D-line, do they?
No, I mean they're pretty stacked there, especially if Clowney can be what they want him to be.
Yeah. And obviously they picked up Will Falk as well, didn't they?
They did, and that's huge for the 3-4.
Yeah. Jalen Collins, no, that's another one. All my favourites are going. Oh, that is a nice pick. Jalen Collins, opposite Desmond Trufant. That is very, very nice.
Going with the young secondary.
Yeah, they've also got, is it Alfred they've got over there as well?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, Collins, good closing speed.
I absolutely love that pick. Absolutely love that pick. Dan, because obviously Mark Christensen, who was a writer for us for a little while, he banged that Seahawks Jalen Collins drum for quite a while. And him going to Dan Quinn's defense suggests that maybe there will be a bit of a layover with what Quinn ran in Seattle. That's a fantastic pick.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Good to see that one team's not doubting his foot injury.
No, well, he is a little raw, but I mean, look at that. I mean, I don't know if you're seeing him chase down. I think that's Marvin Gordon actually. So.
He did. Yep. Yeah, that's a piece of film I was always coming back to. If you can chase down Melvin Gordon on a straight run, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is a pretty nice 1-2 punch start for Dan Quinn in Atlanta. That's impressive. So like we said, Houston. What do you reckon? Running back or linebacker? Maybe Kendricks here.
Yeah, Eric Kendricks is still on the board right there, just right in the middle of their defense. Like we were just saying, defensive line looks pretty solid.
Hold up, they've traded. The Browns have traded up.
Did they just take it from the Texans?
Apparently, that's what it says on NFL Network. 43rd for 51st, the 4th for 6th, and then the Texans send the 7th. No. Was this? Oh, it was a Cleveland pick. Of course it was. Yeah. I've lost complete track.
All right, here we go.
The Texans being aggressive. This wouldn't be the quarterback, would it?
No, not a corner.
Quarterback.
Okay, no. The pick just came in on my end. Mm-hmm. So they bypass Kendricks and go with McKinney.
This is I had Kendricks ahead of Shaq. Well, I love Shaq Thompson, but McKinney ahead of Kendricks. Why do you think Kendricks is still out there? Just any reason when you watched him, or
not that I could see?
No.
Both he and McKinney seem to be solid playmakers.
Yeah,
I think maybe McKinney. I mean, just when you look at him, he looks a little small to be that middle linebacker anchor.
That is a surprise that McKinney's gone before Kendricks. It's probably more of a surprise than Shaq going before Kendricks, because Shaq can play probably 2 or 3 positions, probably, can he? So, this I think the Saints are on the clock unless they've traded. Which think they could go with this pick?
Well, I like that they addressed offensive line yesterday with Pete.
Yeah. They have a nice looking airline now, don't they? With obviously Unger in town now as well, and Armstead out as well. Out
there. As long as Unger stays healthy for him.
Yeah, that is always a question with Unger. Last few years, especially.
I'm blanking though. Who did they take at 31?
Is it Byron Jones?
Might have been Byron Jones. I think Jones might have been taken earlier than that, though. I thought maybe the Cowboys went for Byron.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah, because, yeah. But I really can't remember who they went. Who did the Saints get 31?
Oh, trying to
Stephon Anthony. It's just come up on NFL Network. Stephon Anthony. So even he went before Kendricks. Another one. So what's that? That means Kendricks is the 4th linebacker to go if he goes.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a surprise. What do you think? Do you think this is Gregory?
Yeah, I think so. I know some media analysts who are still thinking Gregory could be a first-round pick would go to them at 13. They do need pass rush. They could also go, they could try and go wide receiver here. I know some of the good ones have been taken, but the loss of Kenny Stills to Miami's might end up being a bigger hit than some might.
The 2 players you'd expect them to go for, talking about Stills, would have been Devin Smith and Dorsett, probably, wouldn't it? So maybe Perriman. But obviously all 3 of them have gone, so who would you next put in line for them?
I don't know. It's a tough one. I'd have to look at my board again. Gregory does mean the most sense for a pass rusher.
Yeah, obviously putting him opposite Cameron Jordan would be a nice mix in New Orleans when they've got to chase after Cam Newton, especially with the Panthers' seeming lack of want to address the offensive line issues. So I think Gregory makes sense here.
Okay. Isn't Jalen Strong still on the board too for Arizona?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, but I could not make my mind up about it. You watch him sometimes. Obviously, he had like the Hail Mary catches and stuff, and you think, okay, yeah. Then sometimes you watch him, and it's like watching Jermaine Kearse at times. He doesn't get any separation.
Yeah, he has a tough time fighting out those battles.
Which is probably why he's still on the board, to be honest, compared to Perriman and Dorsett and Smith.
Right.
So, yeah, Jalen Strong probably makes a lot of sense. But still no Seahawks.
No Seahawks chatter.
Schneider's been on the phone twice. So they must be ordering a big order from Papa John's because nothing's happening. Yeah. So is there any pick that would surprise you with the Seahawks? Because obviously last year Justin Britt was a bit of a surprise at 64. So
it was because he was supposed to be, available in the 4th round, I believe it was. And
but they were worried about the drop off, weren't they?
They were. And he was inconsistent for sure, but some days he'd look really solid, and then other days it looks like there's room for improvement. Well, 2nd round's been a strange
being for, if you think about it, because obviously they got the Golden Tate was a 2nd rounder. They give up a 2nd rounder for Charlie Whitehurst. Ungo was a 2nd rounder. I know that was before Carroll, but it's a weird, especially at the back end of. It's like at the back end of any round, really. It probably doesn't. The numbers change a little bit.
Mm.
So Goodell was just introducing their guy.
I think you're gonna like this one.
Wow. Yeah.
We get another Husky off the board.
Husky, 4 Huskies in the top 50. See, there were questions about his knees, weren't there? And there was talk that he was going to go undrafted.
There were.
Wow.
I know McShane loves him.
I'm going to step away from being biased. What do you think of Kikaha?
I like his aggressive play. He looks absolutely relentless. He can come off the edge really well, just burn past offensive tackles. As long as his knees are good, you should get a relentless guy in your defense.
Yeah, I think the one thing with him is the fact that the production came after the injuries, didn't it? Obviously, his injuries were 2013, I think 2012 as well, and he beasted it in 2014. I think only Nate Orchard had more sacks maybe in the country, if not definitely the Pac-12, obviously. But that's earlier than that's earlier than I expected yesterday. It's not earlier than I expected. I'd probably put him top 50 in January, but all the talk of his knees, there was talk of he was going to have a fall to 4 or 5. So that is also a good pick for the Saints as well. Obviously, we talked about Griff, a similar makeup, isn't he, to Gregory?
Yeah.
So, what do you make of this Gregory fall? Do you think it? I mean, alarm bells obviously are clearly ringing in NFL front offices about him with all the issues.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, originally I was like, even though Shane Ray's going, a similar route with problems off the field, Broncos still went up and got him in 23. So it's kind of surprising. I think it might be a question of work ethic. In the last few days, I've been looking around, and there's been some definite question as to whether Gregory is gonna give a team his full effort, and that was kind of what the negatives surrounding guys like Jadeveon Clowney were last year, and yet he still went number 1 overall. So the slide is still surprising me here. Yeah. So,
talking of Clowney, do you think 12 months on, with all the injuries and all the injury question marks with him going ahead, do you think the Texans would still take him at number 1 if they had a redo?
I think they would. I mean, just a tremendous athlete, just looking like a top prospect on the board. It'd be hard to say no, given a redo.
Yeah. Because he's once in a generation player, isn't he? Even with all the injury concerns and work ethic concerns, maybe.
All right.
There he goes.
Eric Kendricks.
Nice. That's
finally.
Nice. That's a nice defense Zimmer's got there, isn't it?
Absolutely. They went. Then they go Anthony Barr last year too.
Yeah, they got Barr. They got Greenway, and they've got is it Griffin and the line as well.
Yeah,
with Floyd. That's a nice pick. That's a nice pick there. It's another use. Barr was UCLA as well, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Are you surprised they're not giving Teddy some weapons, or do you think it says a lot for Jarius Wright and Charles Johnson?
Yeah, it kind of surprised me because I was envisioning them, maybe taking Devontae Parker at 11th overall just because he had prior history with Teddy at Louisville. But Trey Waynes made sense too, and just going defensive first, building from that defense wins championships. And you're right, they're putting a lot of faith in the wide receivers they do have. Letting guys like Greg Jennings go to. But Kendricks,
I suppose they picked Mike Wallace, didn't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Although whether
I'm not sure about him though.
No, I mean he's
the attitude.
He's worn out his welcome in Miami for this godsend alarm bells, really, because they put up with pretty much anything, don't they? All right, the Niners the pick is in according to NFL Network. Have the Niners moved up?
It kind of feels like they have.
Yeah, I think they have, but Miami haven't picked.
Yeah, Miami's slated to go after them actually in this round, which would be a switch from the.
On the NFL Network graphic, it's got San Fran and Philadelphia. Maybe Philadelphia have traded up.
Okay. See, on mine, it's still got San Francisco, and then Miami is still listed after them.
Yeah, apparently Philadelphia's traded up into Miami's spot 47. It's got to be Fisher. Oregon, It's got to be.
It's Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
He couldn't get Marcus, but he'll get a different duck.
Yeah. Enough, probably. But Jake Fisher is again, like he's with Seattle, like he's with like most Eagles picks seem to be at the minute. It's a Seahawks fit, it's an Eagles fit. Like Jordan Matthews last year was very Seahawkian. I think Jake Fisher's the same.
Very true. Very true. So 49ers here.
Yeah. Maybe Jalen Strong.
Yeah, with the loss of Crabtree. I mean, they did get Torrey Smith in the offseason.
Yeah. And they lost Stevie Johnson as well, didn't they? Or did he re-sign in the end?
No, I want to say they let him leave.
I think they let him go, but I think there was talk that he was going to come back. So I don't know. I don't think the Niners really know what's going on at some points in that building.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Armstead was kind of a no-brainer for them, just because D-line is so crucial for them. It's just been built into their philosophy. But you got to figure another defensive pick here. Even though a guy like Strong's on the board, I mean, linebacker just looks barren right now. Yeah.
Also safety, maybe. Because is it Reed or who's
Eric Reed?
Jimmy Ward was the other one. I was going to have gone. Eric Reed's had a few concussions early in his career. So maybe they look to punch back when they play Seattle. Maybe they go safety.
Absolutely.
Safety wide receiver makes the most sense. I think.
It does. I think if Kendricks was still on here, I think 49ers would have pounced on him.
Yeah, especially UCLA, San Francisco, and all the ties there. But yeah, I think Jalen Strong's probably here. Eagles give up 2 picks. Eagles give up 3 picks for 2 picks. Give up both of their 5th round picks. It's got to be Fisher surely for the Eagles.
Yeah, you got to figure. He's bound not to keep slipping this far.
Yeah.
I still haven't announced the 49ers. I'm looking on the available board here of inside linebackers, and maybe Denzel Perryman of Miami.
Maybe isn't linebacker. I mean, the only other linebacker I could think of at this point would be Dawson, but he seems to have pissed off every team going, doesn't he? So here we go.
All right.
Charles Haley. What the Niners could do for him now.
All right.
Yeah.
They don't go linebacker here.
Jaquiski Tartt. They have just drafted their Cam Chancellor. Jaquiski Tartt is a mini Cam Chancellor. Some of the hits you see him make on the Hoodle videos he's got, it's Cam Chancellor.
Okay.
I like the pick.
This is a guy I haven't seen much of, maybe because he's FCS.
Just there you go. Got Cam. Damn.
6'1", 220.
Damn, that's a good pick. But they don't go wide receiver or linebacker, so I'm not quite sure what to make of that.
Right. I mean, especially because inside linebacker is not a really solid draft class.
And it's not like they only lost Willis; they also lost Borland.
Yeah,
because they're covering one hole, they're covering probably 2.
It's a real hit to their depth. Plus, Navarro Bowman still, after that gruesome ACL.
Yeah. The Niners draft so far, Tartt and Armstead is. I'm a fan of it begrudgingly. Because if I can send you a link later to watch Jaquiski, but it's not just a fantastic. He comes across quite well in interviews as well, which is something they probably took into consideration after the Ray McDonald issues and stuff. So he only has 6 career ints at Stanford, but I like that pick. So Mayock saying he thinks it's a defensive back for the Eagles. So he's not going to say no to Fisher, is he?
I don't think so. I don't know how you can let him go here.
Not twice, anyway.
No.
That'd be like Taylor Mays and Neil Thomas all over again, wouldn't it?
Really?
Should be Fisher. And what do you make of what Chip Kelly's done in Philadelphia this offseason?
It's been tumultuous to say the least. I mean, just some of these trades, just a big eyebrow raiser. I do like their pick of Nelson Aguilar at 20, just a really explosive guy. And how about this? They bring on an offensive lineman to announce it for the Eagles, and they don't go Jake Fisher.
Oh, Eric Rowe. That's another Seahawkian-esque pick for the Eagles. I know. I think it's Jared and Zach Whitman over at field goals. Especially Zach, they were championing him massively for the last few months. He's someone who can, like Dave Hannover say, he can be moved inside. But if you're moving up for him, you surely see him to play him opposite Maxwell.
Yeah, you gotta figure they're valuing him like that.
Yeah.
From the highlights, I'm seeing him put on an island and handling it well.
Using the sideline. He's up the showed him on special teams, blocking a punt on NFL Network. It's not what I thought they'd go, obviously, but it's another pick which makes a ton of sense.
I don't know which analyst on ESPN was just saying it, but they might move him to safety.
Yeah, I think that's the common thread with Eric Rowe, but I don't know who the Eagles have got at safety. They've still got Malcolm Jenkins in town.
I thought so.
Yeah, so it is probably a move, but obviously with the nickel position's not popularity, but it's gaining necessity in the league, isn't it? So maybe that's something they can see him do.
Yeah, definitely. So now San Diego on the board, if I'm not mistaken, unless they've traded.
Yeah, the pick is here, the current draft on Network. Randy Gregory, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, in most mock drafts, that's a good pick too. Although in most mock drafts I saw the Chargers, it was either Melvin Gordon or Malcolm Brown. So I don't know if they go nose tackle here with like a Carl Davis out of Iowa.
Jordan Phillips, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good selection too. So if I'm not mistaken, they're still running the 3-4 over there in San Diego.
I think so, yeah.
Nose tackle is just so crucial.
They've still got Pagano out there, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Chuck's brother.
Yeah, and the stats just there, it's just 26 sacks last year.
Yeah.
And they need someone to throw around a couple offensive linemen.
NFL Network is discussing Randy Gregory. Apparently he backed out on some visits. I think that's what Rappaport's just said. So that doesn't bode well, really. If you can't go all out for this part of the process, you're probably not going to. He was late, and he was late for one and blew off another one. So.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, that'll help. That'll help his draft stock. Yeah, delay people who are thinking about giving you millions of dollars. Just doesn't make sense.
Right, So Chargers, it would seem that Randy Gregory not going to be the choice anytime soon. Kikar has off the board. Who else? Who else is probably an edge guy, or if not Jordan Phillips?
I mean, could you move Eli Harold to maybe outside? I know they
Yeah,
some
I
people
think
list
he
him as
would
a
probably be better in space kind of thing, especially before Randy Gregory's now being interviewed on NFL Network. He's in the green room. How awkward is that? He just seems to have like a chip. I mean, I know you're on ESPN. He just seems to. He's got a weird smirk on his face as he's talking.
He does.
I don't know.
ESPN got a hold of him with Susie Colbert. I didn't really catch what was going on there, but I mean, you like that. Oh, hello.
Hey. Welcome in, Ryder. What do you make of the second round so far?
Been pretty interesting. I was really surprised by the Funchess and Kikaha picks.
Yeah, but we were talking about Funchess, obviously, with Greg Olsen in town. They clearly see him as a wide receiver.
Yeah, I do not see him that way at all.
No.
Just I don't know that he has the attitude to. I don't think he really gets it.
No. What were your surprises in relation to the Kikaha pick?
Well, just his injury concerns. I mean, he's also not overly athletic like a lot of the edge rushers are now either.
Yeah. Like I said to Ken, I think with Kikaha, with his injury concerns, it's the fact that he produced after the injuries, didn't he? Obviously, he was injured 2012, 2013, and went berserk in 2014. So maybe teams have softened a little bit with the production he come forth with in 2014.
That may be true, but I think part of his production is in part due to Danny Shelton, just how much of an impact he made.
Yeah, that's probably fair. What do you make of Perryman to San Diego, Ken?
I like it. Even though he's undersized at 5'10", he really doesn't play like he's 5'10". Pretty hard tackler. He tracks the ball fairly well. Not really sure it's an immediate area of need for the Chargers here in the second round, but a decent talent, I think.
Yeah, I think they've still got Donald Butler, haven't they? And obviously got Manti Te'o. Ryder, what do you make of Perryman to San Diego?
I don't think it's too bad of a pick. I mean, just his pass coverage abilities, they're just so right now. He's gonna have to work on those, but they already have a great defensive backfield with Eric Weddle, Jason Verrett, Brandon Flowers. Their run defense was not good last year, so adding a run defender I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's like me and Ken were saying a few minutes ago that the linebacker position now is pretty bare. We were surprised Kendricks went after McKinney and Stephon Anthony. So I think now with Perryman off the board, I mean, who would you say the next one would be? Because obviously there's been question marks and doubts following Paul Dawson since the combine, pretty much. So who would you put as the next middle linebacker to go? Ryder.
Hard to say as far as middle linebackers go. It depends on if Paul Dawson's draft stock, or if he keeps falling in the draft. I mean, there are some people who kept insisting that he'd go in the first round, even just a couple days ago. But I mean, we're halfway through the second round now, and it almost looks like he might be in a free fall.
Yeah. What did you make of TJ Yeldon going to the Jags? The third running back off the board.
Well, I think he was definitely overrated coming into the college season, and they still maybe drafted him a bit too high. But I mean, assuming they can take care of his fumbling issue, and I don't know, I guess have him run with a little bit more confidence, I think he could end up being a really good pick.
Yeah. It's I think at the same point in the third round, I think it makes probably more sense, especially because they still have some holes on that defense. Really, I know they've still got Clemens around. They've got Marks, obviously Dante Fowler now. So I think going defense for the first two picks probably made a little bit more sense.
I think they also could have gone offensive line, just the interior for them.
Yeah, well,
I know they've added players in recent years, but I don't know. It doesn't really seem like they've panned out quite as well as they would have hoped.
Yeah, well, but what do you see the Chiefs doing here at 49?
Let's see. Well, they're about to announce it right now, or
well, pick is in according to NFL Network. Have you not got a screen there? You know.
No, I've got it up. It's hard to say. They're another team that could really use help on the offensive line. They're just, I mean, they lost Rodney Hudson. He's gone to the Raiders. Really great guy. That I don't know how Alex Smith is going to survive with what they have right now.
Yeah. Well, according to Twitter, Schneider and Pete have just stepped out of shot on the camera, so they're either collecting their Papa Johns or. So who did the Chiefs pick in the first round?
They had Marcus Peters.
How did I forget that pick?
Yeah, it was a pretty unexpected pick for me.
Did you? Yeah, I thought they might go with the Florida State guy, Irving.
Yeah, just for the versatility.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't know who this could be. Jalen Strong, maybe? I mean,
that's what I was thinking. You can't depend on just Jeremy Maclin to help spur this.
Well, does it really matter when you ask Smith at quarterback? I mean, Kelsey's probably going to be the hottest tight end in the fantasy world this season, so outside of Gronkowski, obviously, and Jimmy.
Yeah.
I don't know that Jimmy Graham's going to be quite as hot as he has been in past years, just because of how the Seattle offense is run.
No, that's probably. I mean, that's what everyone says, isn't it? But it will. I'm really looking forward to see how similar we use and how the Saints use it, because obviously they line it quite a lot outside as well. So it might become apparent with who they pick.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think he'll still probably put up bigger numbers than we've seen any receiver put up in a while.
Yeah. It is. I mean, I think it is something which, I was like to say, it will become clearer. But I think if they use him how the Saints use him, that could be. And obviously, with Marshall Lynch, he's still Marshall Lynch, but they might want to use him differently in 15 than they've used him previously. Someone like.
So Mitch Morse is gone.
Around. So that's it's a bit of a surprise, right? He's gone before Grassoon. I mean, where do you see Mitch Morse playing in the NFL? Ryder first, then Ken?
Well, his draft stock just really shot up in these past couple weeks. I mean, he looks like he's got some versatility to him, which, I mean, that's probably something that the Chiefs should really value right now. And I mean, he looks like he'll be a solid pro, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, that's two Missouri O-linemen going second round consecutive years.
Mm-hmm. I think Morse makes a little bit more sense here than did Justin Britt, but I mean, Britt turned out, it looks like he was going to turn out fine, so.
Yeah. Ken, what do you make of Mitch Morse going to the Chiefs?
It's sad because I was hoping the Seahawks could snag him in the third round, but yeah, like Ryder said, good versatility. Took over for Britt, but can easily slide into guard. Should be a steady presence for them. And it's just interesting, 2 years in a row we've got guys that have been considered third or fourth round being jumped and taken into the second round. So there's some good value out of these Missouri Tigers.
I mean, what does that suggest, do you think? Well, obviously, we're probably reading far too much into it, but what does it suggest about the team they've got in Missouri? Because obviously, Michael Sam probably stole the headlines last year in Missouri. Well, the Missouri NFL drafts, but what do you think how they look is on tape and is different from us to the scouts? Because clearly, like you said, they're being taken higher and earlier than most expect on a consistent basis as well.
Yeah, it seems like in past years it's more like a smash mouth kind of guys, but now with these offensive linemen and flashy wide receivers, there's a bit more athletic ability in them.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, Jim Kelly.
Yeah, standing ovation here too.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing that he's recovered so quickly, so completely as well. So who do you think the Bills are going to go? Do you think this is Hundley? You might be ahead of me, but do you think this might be Brett Hundley, the quarterback?
Possibly. It's still a question mark. They brought in a lot of weapons on offense, but that quarterback position not as set in stone as you'd like it to be, especially now with the rest of the AFC East looking stronger.
Yeah.
By the safety, maybe?
Maybe. Well, who would be the next safety, do you think? Because Rowe and Tart have gone, so who would you put as...
I don't know, I thought Tart was a bit of a reach for second round. I mean, if there's a run on safety starting, might have to reach a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I said to Ken when they picked him out, I really like that pick. They've just got their Cam Chancellor. Wow, corner. Another cornerback. Rex Ryan gets another cornerback. So it's Gilmore and Ronald Darby in Buffalo matching up against Gronk and Brandon Marshall. What do you make of that pick, gents?
I think it's a good pick. I mean, across from Stephon Gilmore, when you're in a division with Tom Brady, I know he's not going to be around too much longer, but when you're in a division with him, you really need some good defensive backs.
Yeah, but we're now on the ticker on the NFL Network, and that means we're in business. Yeah, well, do you think Darby being 5'10", do you think he could be a nickel in the NFL, or do you think he'll be outside?
I think he could serve as a nickel pretty well, 5'10", but he looks pretty built for a 5'10" guy, 193 pounds.
Yeah,
we put on weight too.
Yeah, definitely. Are you surprised he went before PJ Williams, or does that line up with how you both had him pegged, Ken?
I was looking at him maybe last week and figured maybe early second round he could slide in. So this is pretty much where he's slated to go.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, I had Jalen Collins ahead of him. So that makes sense. He's gone after him. But we are now like 10 picks away, and Jake Fisher's still there. The dream is alive. The Green Beckham dream's dead, but the future left guard is alive.
Could get either of the two Oregon offensive linemen.
Very true. Ryder, if they were both there at 63, who would you prefer, Fisher or Grasu?
That's kind of a hard choice. I want to say Fisher just because he does have the option of potentially sliding out to tackle when I mean I wouldn't be surprised if Russell Okung missed a few games next year, next couple years.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have a good option ready to just slide over, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice pick for the Browns, Nate Orchard.
Yeah, I figured you'd be a fan.
Yeah. I actually quite liked him at 31, to be quite honest, before the Jimmy Graham trade happened. So I think him and Kikaha were the top two sack masters last year in college. I think maybe in the country. I think Ryder might be able to shed more on that, but I'm pretty certain they. I think he's also someone like we mentioned with Eli Harold, Ken. He's someone who might be better suited 2 or 3 forms being played outside.
Yeah.
Being played out in space as well. So that's a good pick. That. But Utah are another one who seem to have a few players this year who seem to be, obviously Eric Rose just gone as well. There's colleges who seem to be getting not like stealing the show with draft picks, but they seem to be getting more consistent amount of draft picks. Obviously, we spoke about Duke the other night as well.
And the Dolphins have wasted no time either.
No, they've had like. What do you reckon?
There's plenty of offensive linemen still on the board.
Yeah. Well, it's on repeat now, but Jake Fisher.
Where do the Dolphins go here?
Well, I know.
Maybe.
Just announced it.
Wow, next to the Domicon. Wow, that's nice. They haven't got Randy Starks anymore, have they? Have they still got Randy Starks?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That's a nice pick. I thought Phillips would be better suited to a 3-4, but.
And he might have gone in the first round. This is it might be a steal for him.
Yeah, very good value.
And the fact that they traded back and they still got him, like you said, because he was probably seen as a first rounder.
Yeah, they must have been really excited, just jumped when they saw him still there.
Yeah. What did you make of the Bengals pick last night with the Texas A&M kid? I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his name, but he's injured, isn't he? And they picked him in the first round.
Yeah, I thought he was a guy that was, for me, overrated. He's an athlete, but really he's a really raw guy. That injury's a little bit concerning, but I think, they've taken some guys and just linemen a little bit higher than most people would, and it turned out just fine. Looks like they've got a good offensive line development over there, so it might be a great pick.
Yeah. It just seems strange because, again, as a Bengals fan I talked to a little bit, and he says that it's probably 2016 because I think both their tackles, left and right, are free agents after this season. So, obviously with his injury, like with Gurley and St. Louis, with obviously Trey Mason already in situ, it's a strange tactic to draft someone for 2016 in the first round, because it's something that the Seahawks have done, but they've done it with 4th, 5th, 6th rounders, haven't they, in recent years. So to do it in the first round is, obviously if you fall for a player, you fall for a player, but to do it in the first round is a different way of doing it, and it was a surprising pick, I thought. Ken, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was really surprising too, because plenty of good pass rushers were there at 21. Even Bud Dupree was still on the board. Steelers pounced on that right after the Bengals. But
yeah, but according to Twitter, John Schneider on the feed has just picked up the phone, spoke for a few seconds and handed the phone to Pete Carroll, who spoke for a few seconds and handed it back to John Schneider. So that suggests that's the normal procedure for a draft pick, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, in 2015, it's come to us watching a feed on a team's website with no sound. So
maybe they traded with Detroit.
Maybe, but that was one that I think David Sue started earlier today, I think, on Field Goals. He said that Detroit or Miami would be the best two most likely picks, and also would make the most sense. And if Cincinnati are going to go O-line again, surely.
It'd be hard for me to swallow. Eli Harold's still right there.
Yeah. Safeties, maybe. I mean, I don't know who the next safety would be. Maybe Hackett, maybe Chris Hackett would be the next one, maybe.
Possibly. I mean, with Jaquan Jarrett, I think a lot of teams kind of got wary of overdrafting safeties for at least a few years. So hopefully they don't do that again.
Yeah. Well, apparently the Ravens have traded up to Arizona's pick, but that's a few picks away. So I don't know, someone else being announced now. Apparently we were talking. Me and Ken were talking about earlier about the Detroit trade yesterday. Apparently that was arranged on Wednesday. That trade was in the works from Wednesday. It was the parameters of it were set out on Wednesday. Which is, do you think that's commonplace, or is that just special? Either of you can answer that.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it happens too often, just because at that point in the draft it gets to be pretty unpredictable. It seems like the most surprises in the first round usually happen in like the last 10 picks or so.
Yeah.
And that was true this year. I mean, the Lions took LaKen Tomlinson. That was a guy most people were thinking was a second or third type of guy. And
yeah, and as I said to Ken earlier, it's a trade that they got a guard in, and they also already have Larry Warford in town. So to then pick another guard, that's three guards they've now got in two spaces. So unless they move one of them outside, it's a strange one. Ravens have moved ahead of Steelers, but the Bengals and Lions haven't made a pick.
I wonder if we did trade with Detroit, I wonder if that means that we're getting the player Arizona wanted.
Yeah, and who would that be, do you think? Would it be Harold, maybe? Well, I don't know who the Bengals have picked here, but
I would think Ty Sambrailo. Apparently both Seattle and Arizona wanted him.
Yeah, that's
Oh, we're not going to like this, Stuart.
Jake. Oh, no.
He's gone.
Down.
Oh.
Ouch. Why? See, it would have made perfect sense for Fisher to go in the first round.
Yeah.
Wow. But the Bengals, for me, the Bengals have got their picks the wrong way around. Fisher in the first, the A&M kid in the second.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. But I guess,
Damn.
I mean, they got both of them in the end, so...
Yeah, that's a good point. Apparently, the Lions have picked, so... So that trade is gone. We're probably not going to trade with the Steelers. So who would you think that the Ravens have moved up for? It hasn't been confirmed on NFL Network yet, but who would you think the Ravens have traded up for.
I need a refresher. Who'd they take in the first round?
Rashad Perriman.
Okay, so that immediately fills the Torrey Smith departure.
Maybe they take a second wide receiver with Steve Smith being so old. I don't know.
Yeah, but is it?
You can't really count Steve Smith out though, you know.
No, but is it? I mean, it looks like they've wanted to move ahead of Pittsburgh. So who would they want to move ahead of Pittsburgh for? I don't see the Steelers going second round wide receiver.
Maybe a cornerback.
Maybe, yeah. Again, who have they got as safety in Baltimore? Because obviously the Steelers haven't got Polamalu anymore, so.
Right.
Oh, devastating. So close. Look how close we are to Seattle picking Jake Fisher. But the Detroit Lions pick is in, so. Do you think they're going to stand pat now at 63?
Probably.
I don't know. It's looking like maybe we're gonna trade back.
Wow, really?
I would not be surprised if all of our targets are gone.
Imagine that. This happened last year. We waited until like 32 on the first night. We trade back, and then we wake up, anticipation, then they trade back again. We miss out on Jordan Matthews and get Paul.
This is an interesting pick by the Lions. Amir Abdullah.
Isn't he basically Joik Bell? He's similar to Joik Bell, though.
Yeah, tough runner, good vision. Some fumbling issues in some key games, like the Wisconsin game. That was just a case of fumbleitis all around. But he's a tough-nosed kid.
Is he? He's not. What's he like as a receiver? What you saw?
They were willing to use him out of the backfield. I mean, getting Armstrong moving in the read option, just faking him out. And
yeah.
They used Abdullah primarily as a rusher, so
yeah.
As a receiver, it's more complimentary. Plus, they had guys like Kenny Bell they could throw to.
Mm.
But he can do it. He's such a quick guy that he could run a slant route or a curl or something.
So they have Joik Bell, Abdullah, and is it Theo Riddick? Is that their other running back they've got?
I believe so.
Yeah, so that's not a bad grouping, really. It's kind of similar to ours in like makeup, really, if you think about it. Tenuous, but it's a little bit.
It was the last time the Lions drafted a running back.
Was that
LaSure? Yeah, and that didn't really pan out. But I think
they also had the Javid Best as well, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was a sad story.
It was.
I think LaSure is still trying to catch on, but
yeah, he was at the veteran combine, wasn't he?
He was.
So the Ravens pick is in according to the network. So cornerback, PJ Williams, maybe.
It'd be a good option for them.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense.
I mean, Adigi Zua's still out there, isn't he?
That's true.
I thought he might be. I had him to the Colts in my mock in the first round.
Yeah, he's kind of a wild card. He could end up sliding into the third.
Yeah, I mean, after Goodell hammed up Marcus Mariota's name yesterday, it would be quite fun to hear him try and pronounce that one. But again, like with St. Louis earlier, that's another NFC West team collecting their trade chips.
Ravens go offense here with Max Williams.
Wow. What?
Really?
That's interesting.
The stream I'm watching, it still hasn't shown.
It's just showing all this tape now on network. the move ahead of Steelers. Were the Steelers interested in him then, were they? Or
wouldn't surprise me if they were. Heath Miller's been in the league for quite a while.
Yeah.
I really like Max Williams. I think
I do too.
Like you can watch his tape. He can catch basically anything.
Yeah. So who did the Ravens have at tight end? Because obviously Aaron Daniels, but he followed Kubiak, didn't he? He followed him to Denver.
Yeah.
So they got, is it Crockett Gilmore? Is that who they had last year?
It's escaping me. I mean, that sounds right. I'm not.
He's pretty limited, I think. I think his ceiling's very high. So yeah, probably makes a bit of sense. Do you think Wolford, they go Wolford here, or do you think they go corner like we said? Steelers, that is. Because their pick is in, apparently.
I think if they do pick Walford, I think it would be great value.
I think Wolford in the red zone, obviously you got Antonio Brown, you got Martavis Bryant. I think Wolford in the red zone would be quite nice, especially obviously eventually Le'Veon Bell will be around in October time, so
it would be a prolific passing attack more so than it already is.
Yeah, I mean Ben threw 14 touchdowns in 2 weeks without Heath Miller really. So, but 56 is drawing closer. So sorry, go ahead, Ken. Sorry.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't surprise me if they go Walford here, but I know they were big on Marcus Peters in the first round if he was available, and then they bypassed Landon Collins. I mean, at some point they got to address the secondary.
Yeah. I mean, because they paid Cortez Allen, and that didn't really pan out last year, did it? So,
right.
And Dick LeBeau's no longer there either, is he? So maybe with Dupree, but they always seem to. I mean, the last few years they just draft physical freaks of outside linebackers. Like the last 3 years, it's been Dupree, Shazier, and Jarvis Jones. So,
that's right. Yeah.
I mean, Shazier looked quite good until he got injured. Jarvis Jones is never really. But yeah, I'd expect secondary here. They're not going to draft a running back. O-line, maybe Sambreo could go here, maybe. And I don't really know what their O-line looks like, so.
Well, of course, we got to go to commercial on my end, even though the pick's in.
Just coming back from commercial. I keep showing that Danny Shelton bear hug on Goodell. The Rams are back on the clock. Let's just hope they draft another running back and just forget about their own line.
So, what do you guys think about that combo of Trey Mason and Todd Gurley?
It's quite nice. I don't see how it could quite work because I don't think you can. I think Trey Mason's one of those running backs you can't put in a committee kind of thing. I think he's like Jonathan Stewart. If he's healthy, you just give him the ball. Right. You don't have him 50-50 in with someone. So it's going to be interesting to watch. What did you make of it?
I personally, I really like it. Trey Mason was like my top running back last year. Todd Gurley's my top running back this year. I think it could really be a deadly combination. Although, even against the Seahawks, at least, I think they're going to have trouble unless they get some help up front.
Yeah, I mean, one of my best mates in England, he's a Rams fan, and he was not happy. I mean, I think he's similar with us to just Fisher and their GM, but O-line, they need O-line. They've built the D-line. They've lost Jake Long, who I think retired, didn't he, Jake Long? So obviously
yeah.
they lost Wells as well. This has got to be secondary, right? The Steelers.
It has to be.
Otherwise, they're gonna get passed all over.
Yeah, I mean, Bud Dupree can only do so much.
Right.
What's their D line like? What is it? Is it Casey Hampton? Is he still there?
No, they got I think it's Cameron Hayward is pretty
That's the
good.
one.
That's right.
Then I think Steve McClendon in the middle. He had a good year, but then I think he took a step back in 2014.
Yeah. Steve McClendon is weirdly good on Madden. I picked him up on free agency on a franchise like the third year, and he replaced me Bain.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's a. Do you think with these picks we could get our questions answered with Bruce Irvin, with Brandon Meebane, with Justin Britt maybe as well? Do you think that'll be something else to watch with these picks? Like questions answered, Ken?
Yeah, perhaps seeing, like maybe if we go, I don't know, with a guard at some point in the third round, maybe like solidifying Britt at tackle, because I know we were thinking about moving him around, seeing how he'd do at guard. I'd like to just see Britt's progression as a right tackle, because you saw flashes of it. So I'd rather them stay the course there.
Yeah.
Steelers go secondary.
PJ?
Not PJ, Senquez Golson of Ole Miss.
Oh, wow.
Huh. Seems like a lesser version of Jason Verrett to me.
5'8" cornerback.
Isn't Cortez Allen 5'8" or 5'9" too?
He's not very tall, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an unusual. Like it's like they're trying to go the opposite of the Seahawks.
Yeah, definitely not going ideal
Right,
height here for
reading some further bad news on Twitter. Our boy Sambreo is off the board.
Arizona,
No, the pick after.
Denver.
Denver. Okay.
Yeah, apparently so. Although it is for Mike Kliss, so.
I mean, that makes sense for Denver since they went Shane Ray in the first round. You got to make sure you can protect Peyton Manning.
Yeah, definitely. Although it's weird how far away they look.
Yes.
I think. Senquist, 5'8" cornerback in the second round. I mean, what happened to all this following the Seahawk way? I mean, the Eagles are, it seems, but the Steelers, like you said, they're going. They think it's 1976 still, don't they?
I think everyone else is just trying to prove we can win by not following the Seahawks. He looks pretty active in the run defense.
Yeah. They just showed. He's got the speed as well. I guess
He does.
I mean, the Ravens have got Perriman. Bengals have got AJ Green. So down the field, I mean, AJ Green hits a 5'8" cornerback.
Oh, that's going to be fun to watch. Two of the receivers in that division are almost a foot taller than.
Who are the Rams going? O-line, surely.
Oh, hey, my neck of the woods.
Havenstein.
I think this is far too early.
Wow.
I think this is way too early for Havenstein.
So where's he project? Right tackle?
Yeah, right tackle. I don't really see him moving around or helping anyone out in another position.
his passport photo on NFL Network is he looks like Thor.
He's a big dude. Pretty steady presence at right tackle over the course of his career here at Wisconsin. So injuries not really a big risk here. And obviously, if you come from Wisconsin, you're going to be good with run blocking.
Yeah. Do you think with O-line, obviously they keep showing obviously Gordon runs. Do you think having a running back like that would help a player like Havenstein's draft stock?
Yeah, for sure. And just the running culture at Wisconsin over the past probably 20 years now, maybe more.
Yeah.
You turn out good running backs because you have good offensive linemen.
And not just good, but massive.
Yes. Big Midwestern stereotypical size.
So where was the expectation for Havenstein to go?
I
Fourth?
figured fourth round, maybe late third. So, I mean, I guess it's going with the trend. We've seen other teams jump ahead for guys who are projected to go later.
Yeah. The Cardinals pick is in as well, so Eli Harold, I can't believe he's still on the board.
Right, he should have been taken a while ago.
I actually think taking him right about now would probably be still maybe a little bit of a reach. I'm not quite as big on him as other people.
I think he's better suited to a 3-4 than a 4-3.
That's true.
But I really do. I think both of the Virginia outside backers are good. I think Max Valles, I probably said his name wrong. He's raw as anything. But if you can get him in the fifth, fourth, fifth, sixth, and bring him along slowly, I think particularly in a 3-4, you've got a good player in your hands 1-2 years down the line. Marcus Golden, Arizona.
Opposite end of Shane Ray.
Yeah. That's a nice pick. There's another defensive end from Missouri. They had, is it Coney Ely? Was that the guy they had last year?
Yep, that was last year.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Missouri really on the rise in the past couple of drafts.
Yeah.
Defensive end, you.
was Texas's DBU, yeah? So we got Denver. Apparently they're taking Sombrero, which is disappointing, but at least he's out. I mean, I really liked Bitonio last year. He went to Cleveland and tore it up, and we struggled through with Alvin Bailey and James Carpenter. So.
Oh, I mean, again, the two Oregon offensive linemen still there.
Fisher's gone.
Yeah, Fisher's gone.
Oh.
But Grassu's still there.
The Buccaneers have traded up. India traded back. But
Tampa Bay is going to get after it.
Who does Tampa Bay take?
Don't know.
Carl Davis, maybe?
I mean,
I know
they've moved up ahead of us. So Grassu, maybe, who's their center?
I don't know if they've got a dependable one. That'll kill me if they take Grassu.
So is this Sombrero?
Don't have confirmation yet. The spokesman talking just had a little bit of a side. So now we're going to get to the pick. Here we go. Yep, it's official, Stuart.
Damn.
He's gone.
You now know the Bucs are going to get Grassu, don't you?
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
He's a Colorado State, isn't he, Sombrero? So he stays in state. 6'5", 311. Damn.
Despite his height, he actually didn't have very long arms.
No. But I think the thing I liked with him in Seattle was versatility. Again,
Yeah.
he can play all 5 spots pretty much, can't he? Damn.
Everybody's just disappearing off the board for us.
It's going to be Grasu, isn't it? Grasu, Carter, maybe. The Stanford DB.
Carter, maybe.
Wide receiver, what do you reckon? Jalen Strong's still there. Would you take Jalen Strong in Seattle? Okay.
I'm not really as big on, like we were discussing earlier, Stuart.
Yeah.
His
I don't
ability
get
to
it
gain
with
separation.
Strong either.
Yeah.
I see a guy who doesn't play as well as he should. He has big hands, but he drops the ball a lot. He's not as fast as his 40 indicates.
So who are the Cowboys going? D-line? Is this Diggy?
There's some good defensive linemen on the board for them.
Or is this or are they going to replace DeMarco?
Tevin Coleman's on the board. A couple other running backs.
Duke is as well.
I think J.H.I. is still there too. So
yeah, that's true.
They went with Randy Gregory.
Did they?
Wow. The Cowboys, of course.
I would have been okay if we had taken him, I think.
Wow. So they've now got Randy Gregory with character concerns playing opposite Greg Hardy.
Yep.
Jerry Jones does not give a damn, does he?
He's going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, it worked last year with Zach Martin, I suppose, so they didn't seem to really want to do that, but wow. Who have the Cowboys got inside? Because they let Henry Melton go, didn't they? So
they did, yeah. They were. I don't know.
Whoever they got, they must feel set there.
yeah, I'm a tinge of disappointment coming with the Bucks pick. If Twitter guesses are right again, I probably should get off Twitter because it's tipping the picks.
That was my problem last night with the first round. I'd go on Twitter just to see reactions, and everybody else would know the pick ahead. It's just ruining the surprise.
Yeah. Man, that locker room in Dallas is a strange one. It's got Tony Romo, who seems like a pretty decent leader for the most part. Mm-hmm. Someone who you'd want as your quarterback kind of thing. But then they've got Des Bryant, they've got Randy Gregory now, they've got Greg Hardy. Darren McFadden's a bit sulky as well. Mo Claiborne threw a strop last year. Jason Garrett's got his hands full.
Yeah, you definitely got more than a few agitators in there.
Yeah. Would you put them as still the front runners for the East this year again, Cowboys? Even though they've lost DeMarco?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the offensive line's still there. I'm sure Tony Romo can build off what he did. Yeah. Any running back that's going to be behind that offensive line is going to do well too.
Yeah, and they re-signed Doug Free, didn't they? So they kept it fully. So what do you reckon for the Bucks? I've got an idea if Twitter's right, but what do you fellas reckon for the Bucks here? They've moved ahead of us to Green Bay for a reason. So
Lyle Collins.
What do you make of that situation? Because he's now said that if he isn't picked today, he's not signing a contract when he is picked, and he wants to re-enter the draft next year. Is it really going to make any difference, do you think?
Not really. I mean, if it turns out he had nothing to do with this this whole investigation, it's disappointing for him because this is his career and chance to sign a good contract and have financial security. But you know, I'm totally on board with the process of a police investigation. So even if he's not like an explicit suspect, they're still going to want to talk to him because he has history.
Yeah, well, I was a bit surprised the NFL didn't allow him to back out because a few people put on Twitter it sounds better if he has something to do with it. It sounds better for the NFL. I mean, the NFL has had a terrible 12 months PR-wise with Greg Rice. And then to have a player entering the league with that cloud over his head and with it before he's even played a snap, probably, if he got drafted. But for not to back out of the draft for that reason, it seems a bit strange on the NFL's part. I mean, they talked about precedent, but what precedent is that saying? When is this going to happen again?
Right. I mean, I'm sure people who fail drug tests in the future might try and use it as a springboard to be like, hey, I don't want this negatively affecting me. This is a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So they don't want to dig themselves a big hole for years to come. But like you said, I mean, a murder investigation.
Yeah, especially with Aaron Hernandez still fresh in people's memories as well.
Right, it'd be a little raw.
Yeah. Are you surprised that Randy Gregory's draft stock was affected more than Shane Ray's draft stock, seeing as Shane Ray's brain melt came, what, Monday? Was it Monday night he got caught?
Yeah, it was definitely sooner.
Are you surprised that Ray's wasn't affected more? Because he was always going to be first round, but I mean, I had him top 10, top 5 at one point. So
Shane Ray or Randy Gregory?
Shane Ray. I had Shane Ray at Jacksonville my first mark.
Okay. I mean, his first step off the line is incredible.
Yeah.
But the size difference, you know, between him and Gregory looks more like a NFL prototype. So I've been definitely surprised by how far Gregory has slid. But again, like we were discussing like an hour ago, if he does have work ethic issues and Ray doesn't, then there's a clear distinction.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little surprised because the amount of talk it's like Ray was going to fall to what Gregory has. And it didn't seem like Gregory was going to fall as way it can do with Shane Ray in Denver. And John Fox, obviously.
Definitely. So we're still waiting on this Bucks pick.
Yeah, my stream's playing up again.
I hope it's not Grasu. I really do.
If the Twitter guesses are right, it's not Grasu.
Because they already went.
It's not Grasu.
Really, they're going offensive line twice in this round.
Apparently.
Oh, makes sense. I'm advocating for it.
If the pick is who people are guessing, then it makes a ton of sense, to be honest. And it's a pretty cool story as well. So with Tampa Bay, I've got a good idea on Tampa Bay's pick. Green Bay, where do you see them going?
I'd want them to go nose tackle.
Is BJ Raji back or?
Not that I've heard.
No.
I think I think they were okay with letting him go because of the triceps injury. And then they tried moving him to defensive end in the 3-4 scheme, and it just didn't really work out at all.
No. What was the reaction in Wisconsin to the pick last night of Randall?
Some people were fans of it, but the notion I got here around campus was it's another failed secondary pick by Ted Thompson. Because Landon Collins, if you're going to go safety, Landon Collins is right there. And I know Randall's a tackling machine, and the Packers could always use better tacklers because they clearly don't know how to do it. But you had a couple of good nose tackles right there, and if you're still sticking with Dom Capers' 3-4 scheme, you need someone to plug up the middle.
Yeah, well, there seems to be a bit of talk that they're going to move to Randall outside to cornerback, don't they? Like the Niners did with Jimmy Ward a little bit last year. So that makes more sense than drafting, because I mean, obviously Clinton Dix last year in the first round, didn't I mean, he showed flashes. I mean, he had a pretty good championship game, from what I can remember. Obviously, he misread the 2-point conversion thing, but
pretty badly, yeah.
yeah. But I think he was the only player to make a mistake in that game and not be cut, wasn't he?
Right.
I mean, they got rid of Brad Jones, AJ Hawk, the special teams coach, Bostic, McCarthy, lost play calling. Ryder, what did you make of Randall to the Pack?
I was really expecting Eric Kendricks or Denzel Perriman, not at all a safety.
No. Yeah, I think Kendricks or Anthony were the two I was expecting to go to them, because obviously AJ Hawk's gone. You wouldn't expect them to keep Clay Matthews inside.
No, he's just a better edge rusher.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have gone Jordan Phillips, though, too.
Yeah, the Twitter guessers were right.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, they just went to commercial, but they revealed it.
Damn. There goes another option at centre.
Exactly.
This is probably going to be Grasu, you'd think, at this point.
I hope so.
If it's not Grasu, what other centres? Shaq Mason? Is it Georgia Tech? Shaq Mason?
I think so.
Yeah.
I didn't really look into him that much.
No. Ryder, did you look into him?
What was that?
Shaq Mason.
I haven't taken too close of a look at him.
No. I saw glimpses, but again, it's probably not as much as I should have.
Disappointed by this Marpet pick, though.
Yeah. Where'd you play him? Did you play him inside?
Well, I think yeah for the Buccaneers they should probably play him inside.
Yeah, it's I mean, Goodall announced him as a tackle, so the Packers pick is in. So here we go, we're on the clock.
Almost time for our first pick.
Yeah.
In a while.
Donald Driver. He was a good player.
Here it comes.
Nice. That's another second. That's another guy. And my shoe just froze.
Sorry, guys. I don't know if anything was said. Again, it's cutting in. It's cutting in.
Rhino?
I guess they got their replacement for Tramon Williams there.
another Congo guy. I don't really understand. Like you said, Ken, the nose tackle.
It's a glaring need for them.
So 63. What do you reckon? I think he's in. They made that pick. They've actually picked.
I gotta go Grasu right there.
I've got to, but Ken, don't tip this pick. Wait till we've all reacted.
I will not announce.
There he is, Kenny Easley. I think.
I'm also surprised that we didn't trade back.
Yeah, I'm a little bit.
I'm still waiting.
Kenny Easley is milking every second of this. Ken's got his head on his hands. No, what?
I haven't seen who it is, but based on the reaction so far. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know, guys. I don't know.
Once again, they just catch everybody off surprise.
Eesh. Oh man.
Grasu is right there.
Diggy Zua is right there. Eli Harold is right there.
Yep.
Wow.
I don't know what their angle is. I thought we were. I didn't think we needed to take a defensive end this high.
No.
With Cassius there, I mean.
I'm sorry to say, Ken, but that probably kills Lyndon Trail.
Yeah. I think that's even more devastating than Grasu.
I don't understand that pick.
Man.
If Ryder, did you read or see his combine interview?
No, I didn't. But
it was a train wreck.
Really?
He didn't get ownership of anything. He didn't think us.
Well, from my understanding, he was actually cleared by the authorities recently.
Yeah, he was. But there was actually talk that Schneider was digging in on Green Beckham. So maybe the digging into his background was on this guy.
Maybe. Hey, but we just saw the next safety come off the board.
Yeah, the Stanford kid. I think he's due as a third rounder. And Indianapolis have picked already. I'm not sure I can get on board with that pick. I've spent the whole day berating Floyd Mayweather, and then we're going to do that.
He better have a real impact really quick. Unless it's hard to see where he goes at this point. I mean,
that surely doesn't bode well for Bruce Irvin. As I said about
it doesn't.
He's a lot bigger than Irvin, so I think he would have to lose weight if they wanted him to take the Bruce Irvin role.
Yeah, but they're not. They've just paid Bennett. They've just paid Cliff Averill. I mean, I did not, like you said, I did not have D lineman. Not outside D lineman, maybe maybe like a Xavier Cooper, maybe, but I mean,
Maybe there is a Michael Bennett trade coming, but maybe later for a next year draft pick or something.
maybe. Damn. Well, I've got to be honest, I'm glad we didn't trade up.
I would agree.
So, third round, I think he's always probably the most surprising name to still be out there, right? Jalen Strong also.
I'm not that surprised by Jalen Strong not being picked yet. I think he's more of a media hype sort of guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I wouldn't have been too surprised to see him long gone by now, but equally, he's one of those players, isn't he? He's kind of. I'm still reading, to be honest.
Yeah.
My guess is Clark was just a best player available pick for them.
Yeah, well, Jason Akinfora said, "Don't be surprised if Frank Clark is the Seahawks pick earlier today." So maybe he has Schneider's there, but I think Izuma's right there.
I would have been fine with Eli Harold too.
Yeah.
I really would have. I would have been pretty happy with Odigizua. Just he's got so much potential.
Yeah. I guess we'll understand more when we hear from him later, and it's a case of trusting Schneider and Carr at this point, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
So who do we take in the third now? Do you want to try guessing at all?
Oh.
What's the point now, right?
You know, it couldn't be a worse pick than Brian Anger.
Who's that?
He was a third round pick by the Jaguars. He was a punter.
That's
Yeah,
right, before Russell Wilson.
Dijon Smith, no cornerback gone.
Florida
No cornerback.
Heard he's made a bit of a late rise. Seems like kind of an interesting
quite
pick.
a few. But I think.
What do you think now? Titans at 66, pass rusher?
Who have they picked? Mariota and DGB, wasn't it?
Anyone at 3-4 end available?
Yeah, I'd probably go pass rusher. Or maybe this is Eli.
Well, they have Derek Morgan. They brought in Brian Arakpo.
Yeah, Arakpo's got injury things, though, isn't he? He's a bit. I'm not sure I would count on him to win every down. And Eli Harold needs to bulk up, so maybe he could do with. I mean, I'll just.
Maybe they might go with a tackle here.
Maybe. Prasasi, maybe?
I think it would be a little bit high for. Actually, kind of getting into that range for Patasi.
Frank Clark's just gone 63, so I think. I mean, Zach Whitman's just tweeted some of the quotes from Frank Clark from his combine interview.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, when we were in the room, the person involved let something get out of hand. not taking ownership and took something further than it was planned. He smiled. I'm not saying I'm a womanizer or anything of that nature. I'm just saying it was a confrontation, and the woman involved took it to another level that it shouldn't have been taken to. I'm not throwing her under the bus. I'm not saying she did anything wrong. I'm just saying a lot of things happened in that room that night that could have been avoided. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's listed as a defensive end, outside linebacker. So is that Malcolm Smith's position's taken? Malcolm Smith, Bruce Irvin's position taken, or is he just? Well, would you see him more as a hand in the dirt end?
I mean, that's what I've seen him predominantly as.
Yeah.
But
I would think he's a defensive end.
Yeah. Makes more sense. I've never seen this as an outside backer, but I just.
hey,
Do
maybe
you
let's
think Raskin makes it to 95?
Maybe we trade up. They were saying we might trade up to the top of the second, but I think that plan got nixed when Green Beckham was taken.
It had to have been for Green Beckham, yeah. Especially with how far Fisher fell as well. All right. I'll be back in 2 minutes to just talk about picks.
Who do you think's won the draft so far?
Who's won the draft? I honestly have to say I really like with how Tampa Bay is going. They're going to have a ridiculous offense in the next couple years.
Them and the Titans, really. I mean, it helps to have the 1 and 2 picks, but their follow-ups have been good too.
Well, if it might help the Titans' case here, depending on who they pick.
It just came in on my end. They got Putasi from Utah.
It definitely it fills a need for them.
It does.
I'm not huge on Patasi, but at least maybe not quite this early. I was thinking more late third, but I mean they could have made a lot worse picks here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean that he's got that big frame. I think the kick slide could be a little better, which is why I mean a ton of people were saying he could shift inside to guard, just because he's a little bigger and doesn't have great movement for an NFL tackle.
I mean,
just massive though.
At this point, I mean, it seems like at the very least he should be able to help their running game, which can of course in turn help the passing game. So I mean, really both the first two picking teams in this draft could soon have two of the best offenses in the league.
Yeah, that's the danger too, isn't it? I mean, knowing that Tampa's got wide receivers ready to go, and then going with Jameson, everyone's going to think they're going to be pass heavy. So yeah, you definitely would want to address the running game too in what you select.
Oh, Jaguars just took AJ Cann.
Okay.
Who did the Titans take?
They took Jeremiah Putasi from Utah.
Putasi before Cann is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, Cann. I think it's a good spot for Cann, though. I mean, I haven't been as high on him as a lot of pundits have been, but I mean, at the very least, he's going to be a good run blocker.
Yeah. Putasi was one of our drafting Seahawks pieces early on, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was a big fan of him.
So Oakland, where do they go here? They give Carr a weapon in the first round. Who did they draft in the second round?
They got Mario Edwards.
So they got D-line. Secondary, maybe? O-line? Because they look like they got Hudson, didn't they, from the Chiefs in free agency? Is that where he went? It was, wasn't it?
Could
Ken,
definitely-
you still look distraught about Frank Clark.
Oh, it's Grasu. It's the possibility of me having to root for another team that takes Linden Trail. It's just a lot. It's just a lot.
It's yeah. I mean, I would have preferred Linden Trail to Frank Clark, but
Just character issues alone.
yeah.
Doesn't Trail have character issues too?
Trail?
Yeah.
Not that I've seen. Not to any degree that Frank Clark has.
Oh, boys.
Don't. It,
Has anyone got the draft ticker on?
no.
The Seahawks trade up?
We've traded up with the Redskins.
Oh.
Wow.
Maybe we are taking Grasu.
Maybe. Well, I think it was us after the Raiders. The ticker's gone now on network, but wow, that's about what, a 24 pick move.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's big. Now I just want Oakland to get out of the way.
I'm thinking we probably traded maybe both of our fourths for it, or maybe a fourth and a fifth.
we traded with the Redskins, so would we trade a player? Do you reckon?
Hmm?
Do you think we would
wouldn't
add
trade
a player to the trade, like the Broncos did?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Not for third round.
Yeah.
According to Brea, we've swapped threes, and the Redskins picked up a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth. Wow, that's a lot.
How many of those are 2015 picks?
It just says numbers in a minute.
You know, I'd be okay if they were all 2015 picks, just
Yeah,
because
they are.
we have so
They
many
are.
this year, and next year's draft is going to be a strong one, from what I understand.
Yeah, we've sent them 95, 112, 167, and 181.
Did we maybe get like a seventh round pick with that, or no?
No, we just
Wow.
get the 69th pick. Wow, that's a lot. Who do you reckon? Grasu? Sammy
what I'm
Coates, maybe?
I really hope it's Grasu at this point.
I mean, when's our next pick now? I mean, now we've lost 95 and 112. When's our next pick?
Probably like, was it 120 or something?
Yeah, it's somewhere around there, right?
95.
I think we have 120 and 124. No, that doesn't sound right.
130. 130 is our next pick.
Okay.
That is a ways out.
It is.
130, then 134, which is a comp. Wow. Where the hell is this going to be? But Grasu had injury concerns, didn't he? In the last few weeks, I saw he was pegged back a bit because of.
Yeah, towards the back end of this past season. Still made it in time for the playoffs, didn't he?
Yeah, he definitely played against Florida State. I can't remember if he played against. I'm guessing he played against Ohio State. If he played against FSU. So what do we reckon? If it's not Grasu?
Oof.
Now, I mean, how is he so far behind this? The Raiders are still on the clock. They really need to get rid of ad coverage. Just Just show game film if you have to. Then
Yeah.
it's been like a 5-minute ad break on network.
Oh, what about TJ Clemmings?
Maybe
That's not
if you
bad.
pick him, you're moving Britain side. No.
Yeah, Clemmings is more of a traditional tackle.
And then there's also Grady Jarrett. I've heard, well, at least I've seen several mocks send him to Seattle.
Yeah, and that would suggest if it's Grady Jarrett that Mebane is a gunner.
Probably, yeah.
95, 112, 167, 181. Wow, that's a lot. Who is this?
I don't know. I guess that means that the Schneider and Carroll don't really see anybody that they really want late in the draft.
Yeah. Or they're going to go after undrafted kids again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Who the Raiders pick, yeah?
Yep. They took Walford of Miami.
Ah,
They've got Michael Rivera as well, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
yeah, they also have Nick Casa too, I think. But I think Walford, at this point in the draft, he's a steal. I don't think he's gotten the attention he deserves by any means.
I'm a fan. He's good. He's good. He's good vertically, and he's good finding a gap in the zone. He's also a really, really nice red zone weapon as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he lit up the Senior Bowl. Was it the Senior Bowl? He just seemed to rocket.
He had a solid time, yeah.
If David Carr can succeed with Amari Cooper and Clive Walford,
And Marco Rivera and James Jones.
Yeah, Derek Carr.
Yeah, he's
So
he should be set.
He should be, yeah. And they got Khalil Mack, C.M. Moore, Mario Edwards, DJ Hayden. They seem to quite like it still. Who have we picked here?
Nobody spoil it.
Nope. Oh, here it comes. All right, it's in. I've seen it.
Yeah, me. I like it.
Oh,
That's
It's not bad.
that's Golden Tate.
Yes, it is.
Tate.
hopefully
And also, there's our kick returner.
Yep.
that's a good. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Just lit it up at Kansas State.
Hopefully he's better than the last Kansas State receiver we got.
He kind of like escaped my attention, and I watched their bowl game. I can't remember. I think it was against UCLA, and he lit it up in the bowl game.
Yeah, he's got some pretty fun highlights to watch.
Yeah, he's a really, really good route runner. The Jets are traded back to Texans. This guy running back. Strong.
Yep.
Wow. See, him and Hopkins, that's quite nice.
You know, it's not bad value at this point in the draft. He's I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowler or anything, even though I know people have compared him to Alshon Jeffrey. I think he's more of just kind of like a poor man's version where he's just going to be a solid starter with some similar traits.
Yeah. And also, yeah, that's a nice, especially at this point, that's a nice pick. So, Tyler Lockett, other kind of like ummed and ahed it since the pick was announced. What are your first thoughts? And the fit in Seattle.
Ryder, you want to go first?
Sure. I guess like it is kind of he's a Golden Tate type of guy, but it also puts into question Paul Richardson, how they feel about him, if they're worried about how well he's going to be able to come back from his injury.
Yeah. Ken?
Yeah, that's a good point, Ryder. Just because he does seem like another kind of Paul Richardson, but just explosive return game.
That's definitely needed.
Yeah, because I mean, Doug Baldwin taking kicks, it just didn't look good, and Brian Walters just could not do anything.
Yeah.
A solid receiver too. He's got good quickness, good agility. He'll be definitely fun to watch.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I like it more than I like my Jamison Crowder pick in the mock draft.
Yeah, that's a good point. Pro Football Focus just tweeted that he had 559 yards of deep passes, the third most in the 2015 class. So that comes back to the Paul Richardson point, because that's kind of what we expected from him, wasn't it? So
Right.
Something which makes asks questions. Also, Kevin Norwood. I mean, I've said since a few pieces, every time I've covered a wide receiver with Justin Seahawks, I said that it's time to invest in the wide receiver position. And I guess giving up 3 picks, I guess, giving up 3 picks is doing that in some way. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. It's putting a priority in there. I mean, getting Jimmy Graham now with this kid, definitely going to see an opened up passing attack out of Russell Wilson. Because, who knows how much longer we're going to have Marshawn Lynch. I know we just signed him to extension, but he could decide to retire at the end of this year. So you never know.
Yeah. Well, he had 77 kick returns for an average of 28.5.
Oh,
That's good.
32 punt returns for an average of 15. So that is, I mean, I can't do that maths in total, but that sounds quite good.
yeah, those are numbers to be excited about.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got his receiving stats, but
I mean, the return game is really fallen out of favor with us because we just haven't really had in recent years. But when you think about some key games, like even the last couple of playoff games, we were playing possession and field position. And if we have a big play guy who can make some big plays without the Percy Harvin attitude, that's going to have huge dividends.
But it's also something that Carol mentioned with last year with the special teams was the blocking on the special teams. Because obviously it was. I mean, it's not something you notice when you watch on TV, but obviously it's something that they picked up on. So if they improve the blocking, it could be fun. It could be, like you said, it's Percy having that headaches, but I think Golden Tate, they clearly regretted getting rid of Golden Tate. So in some way they've replaced one of both their facets in one, it seems, by giving them. They've also used the Percy Harvin pick to move up as well, so there's some poetry to that.
Well, with Golden Tate, you had a guy that could catch a ball 2 or 3 yards from the offensive line and make it into a 20-yard gain, and we don't have that.
And also, if he is a yak guy, as it appears he is, it takes pressure off the O-line with Wilson getting the ball out quick. It also means wide receiver screens are here to stay, which there's some people I watch games with who hate them with a passion, but it sounds like Bevel's going to keep that page of his playbook intact with Lockett.
Yeah. I don't really mind the wide receiver screens, but when we when we use them as a crutch early on in the game, trying to establish that as the offense, that's when I really
there
take
goes
issue.
Gosu.
Going to be playing next to Kyle Long.
Damn.
It was going to happen. There was no way he's going to make it to us in the fourth.
Yeah.
Not 130.
No
So
way.
who do you see our centre? Who? Jack Mason, I think is. I think I might have to go and watch him tomorrow morning because that seems like someone who could be there at 130. Ryder, did you? Is it Andy Gallic? Ken, you had Andy Gallic.
Yeah, I had Andy Gallic. Yeah.
Would you like him at 130?
I would. Yeah, he's a great punisher. Good effort. Head on a swivel. Really knows all his assignments and the guys around him. So I think Tom Cable would really love a fighter like him.
If he makes it there, we should take him.
Yeah. Is he? I mean, I haven't really watched much of him, to be quite honest. Is he athletic, or is he just like a road grader type player?
I believe he has wrestling background, so I think there's a tiny bit of athleticism there, but it's more like a pound and ground kind of deal.
Yeah, that's what I've gotten.
Yeah. There are still. I think Mason's at the top of my list right now. So is Gallic at the top of yours, Ken, for centre?
Yeah.
Ryder?
Yeah, I'd have to say same here.
Yeah.
I mean, there actually are quite a few options still available at center, just because really, Grasu's he's the closest thing to a true center that's been taken.
Yeah, because Mappet and Sabre maybe you're gonna have some rough edges with them initially.
Right.
It's like we did with Sweezy, but that was a different move, I know. But so.
I'm pretty sure that our next pick is gonna be a lot less of a surprise, or overall, it'll make more sense just in general. Probably offensive line or cornerback.
Yeah.
I hope so. I don't think I can take another Frank Clark surprise.
Yeah, it's been a weird half an hour. I still can't quite get over Frank Clark. I've got to be honest, I've missed like the last 10 picks. Does anyone know what they were? I was in a Frank Clark haze, and then the Seahawks were back on the clock. Is Carl Davis gone? I've seen a lot of talk on Twitter about Carl Davis. Is he gone?
No, I think he's still on the board, unless that bypassed me.
I'm just going to check the Pro Football Spot draft Twitter thing. So the Rams are back on the clock. The pick is in, apparently. This has got to be O-line, surely. Do you think this is O-line?
Let's see, they've taken...
They did take Havenstein earlier.
Oh,
but
yeah,
they do go.
Yeah.
But they still go O-line here.
What about... I'm going to say maybe linebacker?
Oh, it's not linebacker, right? He's another big dude.
Oh, yeah.
Jamon Brown.
So, what are they going to do with Greg Robinson? Are they going to move... Is Robinson a guard now, then? Or...
I think that's what they were trying to do last year.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't. It wasn't taking.
No, it says on Network he started 13 games at left tackle last year. So you'd guess. Well, there's people kicking off about Tyler Lockett on Twitter, and I'm on board with that pick. After Frank Clark, I'd probably been on board with any pick if it wasn't Frank Clark. But I mean, if he goes and gets the strip sack that wins us the Super Bowl next year, all will be forgiven. But someone's just made a good point on Twitter. Do you think the Seahawks are doing the opposite at wide receiver to what they do at cornerback? They have a lot of small wide receivers now.
It certainly seems like it.
Do you think it would be something where next year there'll be like 5'5" receivers going in the first round?
I guess so.
Where's
I don't know.
of the world?
Not with Taven Austin.
That's true. Where do you think the Falcons go? Tight ends a bit dry with Wolford and off the board. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely. There's a noticeable drop off there. I mean, they could still go Ben Koyak, right?
Yeah. I think it's a little early for Koyak.
I would agree.
Blake Bell got a few looks, didn't he? It was way early for him, but Blake Bell was interested in more than the tight end. No, not maybe.
Maybe another defensive lineman.
Yeah.
There's some good ones on the board still.
Yeah, well, DZ is still there. I can't believe he's here. 73. Frank Clark is talking to Seahawks reporters, it appears. He says he takes full responsibility for what happened in his domestic violence case. Says he's learned from it. So he's either had a warning from his agent or he's grown up since his combine interview. I put myself in a position I shouldn't have been in. I think it's just a case of trusting Schneider and Carroll that they've done their due diligence, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It also shows that they're not scared away from taking character concerns after the Percy Harvin project.
Could the Falcons go running back?
They really could use one.
They've got Vonta Freeman though, right?
They do, but is he a full-time starter type of guy, or?
Well, I think Quinn likes him. I know Dimitrov likes him. I think Quinn likes him. The pick is in. They went back corner. O-line maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't see running back with Devonta Freeman. Well, I hope not, because I've got Devonta Freeman in my dynasty team, so I hope they don't get him back. So what do you make of the third round so far with Grasu? Putasi's also gone as well. Obviously, we touched on that earlier. AJ Khan is gone.
It's been an exciting time. A couple of deflections. Yeah, Tevin Coleman.
Wow.
Which is good. I mean, I like the explosion.
It's a pick I'm on board with.
My dynasty team isn't.
I mean, that's definite energy coming out of the backfield. Whereas you got more power out of Steven Jackson the past year or two.
Well, Jackson retired, didn't he?
Mm.
Well, I'm a bit surprised by that, but it makes sense, I guess. I really wanted Devonta Freeman to be good. Maybe he doesn't like him.
I mean, the only thing about this late second, early third round that I've seen so far is just a bunch of offensive linemen that have been taken earlier than I thought they would.
Yeah. It's been the story of the first 2 days, though, really.
I wasn't I don't know about you guys, but I was not much of a fan of that Brandon Scherf pick.
It seemed like a pick that they wanted to trade back. They either didn't get an offer, they wanted to trade back to like 10-11, and we're going to take him at 10-11, but didn't get an offer, so just took him anyway. It was a strange pick.
It sounds like the Giants would have taken Scherf if they had traded back too far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Clark is only 21. That's interesting. I don't really understand. I can't really gauge the reaction of the Seahawks Twitter to Seahawks lose to Edelman and Gronk, acquire Lockett and Graham.
I saw that tweet. I liked it. Looks like the Giants are selected at 74.
Do you? That is an amazing pick.
They might have gotten. They really needed him.
Yeah, because they only got Pierre Paul, really, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Kiwanuka's no longer there. That could be the biggest value pick of the lot. He's pretty raw, but I do like that pick. Saints, where'd you see them going? Wide receiver?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. Deep threat.
It's unfortunate. They're all getting taken. Saints have probably got to jump on board pretty soon.
Yeah. So looking a broader way of the Seahawks pick, what do you make of the wide receiver core now? It's got Tyler Lockett, sub 6 foot, sub 200. Burrison, 6 foot, sub 200. Doug Baldwin, 6 foot, about 200, maybe sub 200. I don't really know. Then they got Chris Matthews, 6'4", 230. What do you make of the wide receiver core as it stands currently?
Ryder, you can go first.
Well, I'd say there's going to be a lot of competition to figure out who's going to get playing time.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if it's probably unlikely, but if the Super Bowl was any indication, maybe Chris Matthews ends up starting over Jermaine Kearse.
It could be, because he still hasn't signed his tender, has he, Jermaine Kearse?
I don't know has he?
No, I don't think he has. I think he's only one of 2 or 3 who hasn't.
Okay.
I mean, this has been. I mean, Justin Britt's tweeted, "I like what we're doing." They don't teach grammar at Missouri, clearly. So is this with well, I don't know what to say. I don't understand the Frank Clark pick. I don't think I will. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I'm struggling. Ryder? Ken?
No, I think I'm going to get too negative if we dwell on Frank Clark. But
Is it Jamon Brown's coming, Ken? You'll be fine tomorrow.
Tyler Lockett has certainly brought back the enthusiasm here.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's it's probably not the pick we expected the wide receiver. The first one, anyway. I think we all expected the big guy, didn't we?
Right. That's what I was hoping for. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it rules out both of my mock picks we had the other night in Trey McBride and Donatello Lockett, because I know you got it right. Tyler Lockett, Donatello Lockett. It's kind of similar.
Yeah, take a win where you can get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step away for a few minutes.
Okay. But yeah, I think Tyler Lockett, I think he said Lockett, is a pick you probably I can get behind. I'm quite excited to see him in action.
Yeah.
Because I think it meshes quite well. Because we know what we're going to get from Doug Baldwin. Doug Baldwin's possession guy. Matthews could turn out to be the big target. Maybe it suggests how we're going to use Graham as well. Maybe Graham will be flanked out wide more often than we used to see him from our tight ends.
Yeah, I hope so, because I really want the Seahawks to have a guy on the outside that Wilson can just trust on a sideline throw.
Yeah. I mean, Baldwin makes some circus catches occasionally, but you can't count on that as an offense, can you? Really?
No.
Not at this stage of Baldwin and Wilson's careers.
So while our receiving core may not be tall, we're at least going to be able to stretch the field, and Wilson has such great touch down the field.
Yeah, and Carroll loves explosion, doesn't he? He loves explosive plays. So it's I think Tyler Lockett is going to make. He could have an argument to be the best receiver on our team. Really, if you take him on college production and what he shows on tape with the punt return capabilities as well.
Yeah, that might be his best asset.
Yeah.
Just helping us with field position.
Yeah, and that's massive.
It would have helped in the Super Bowl.
With our defense, if they just took the quarterback, Saints just took the quarterback.
Yeah, they took Garrett Grayson.
Wow. Before Petty and Hundley.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of Hundley, and then
he needs to sit somewhere for a year or two. I think Denver would be quite nice for Hundley, to be honest.
Yeah,
he's
definitely a project.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick there. That
just building for the future, because I mean, I know, didn't they say like a couple days ago that Breeze is still our guy, and he doesn't seem like he's going to be slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah.
But you still got to go with the practical move.
Yeah, because you can't go into a draft 3 months after Breeze is retired and you've got no one.
Right.
Because you can't have not many teams are going to get away with what Indianapolis looked out on, like pun intended.
Right.
I mean, 1 year of having a drop off at quarterback position isn't bad.
No. I think they'll take that terrible 2011 and.
Also, have you seen the number of the pick that Saints just picked Grayson with?
No.
75.
Was it 75?
Yeah. No pressure, kid. So would you put Petty ahead of Hundley then, would you?
I would. The main concern I have with Petty is, I don't know if you remember Graham Harrell, who was a quarterback at Texas Tech a little while ago. He was just a guy, they just threw the ball all the time, and it just didn't really translate into an NFL kind of scheme. And if you throw a ball 50 times, you're going to put up some good numbers. But then again, you're bound to see how many bad decisions you can make. And late in their bowl game against Michigan State, you could see when he feels like he needs to make a big play, he'll force things a little too much.
Yeah.
So I think there's a bit of development there. I haven't seen a ton of this Garrett Grayson kid, but setting school records over at Colorado State, and they're not a terrible program over there, but they're definitely under the radar.
I saw a bit of Grayson when I was watching Sambreo, and he's not. He does look like a bit of a project, but not as much of a project as Hundley probably is.
And if you get to sit behind Drew Brees, you're going to pick up some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's what means. What the Broncos hoped Osweiler would with Peyton. It doesn't look like it's working. To be honest, my priest of the Chiefs. That's did you watch much of Conley or?
No, I know people were high on him.
Yeah, he had a ridiculous combine, didn't he?
That did result in a spike, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what does that mean now? They've got him and Macklin with Kelsey at tight end. It's not. I mean, they probably have improved the position from Donny Avery and aging Dwayne Bowe. So that is something. But the quarterback is still Alex Smith. But where do you think the Browns go here?
I'll see. What have they done so far? They got Danny Shelton. They went with Irving to be a versatile guy on the line, and then was their second round pick?
Do not remember. I was just waiting for us to pounce and get Fisher or Grassoud, to be honest.
I'm totally blanking on what the Browns did.
Is it Phillips?
I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, get back here, Safari. Still looking. Oh, they took Nate Orchard in the second round. Okay.
So it's probably going to be receiver, maybe Sammy Coates.
Sammy Coates is right there. That's a good. I think that'd be a very solid selection for them.
Yeah.
Because Orchard's going to be a difference maker in the pass rush.
Yeah.
Plus Shelton up the middle.
Yeah. The Saints are back on the clock. How have they traded up again?
They must have.
Or they've just not changed that pick. I mean, they are on the clock. That graphic is right?
Yeah, over here they've still just got Cleveland's pick in, but
the Bucks have already signed Jameis Winston to a contract. That's quick.
Yeah, I think it was this morning or around midday. 4 years.
Yeah, I've literally just seen it.
Something around 25.
Yeah.
With a pretty solid bonus.
Lockett says he weighs 182 or 183 pounds. Wow, he's going to be blown over. It is interesting, like the difference our offense is to our defense.
Yeah, we're going with bigger corners and then smaller wide receivers, I guess. I mean, if you had 4 small, really athletic receivers who have great first steps, I mean, you're just going to be able to throw downfield and someone's bound to outrun someone else.
You need someone to win the contested catch.
Exactly.
Because they're not going to win all the time. So...
I mean, maybe we rely on Jimmy Graham for that, you know?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and you'd hope. I mean, do you think having Graham around will help Wilson, like Luke Wilson, like maybe like coach him up a little bit?
I think so. I mean, Luke Wilson's shown a little bit of his route running ability, and he's made a couple of big catches here and there.
Yeah.
So he should be able to pick something around from Jimmy Graham. But then again, that athleticism just isn't going to translate.
No.
That's just an individual difference.
Yeah, I would not be. I mean, how many picks do we have left now? Is it 7, 6? I mean, we traded 3, pick 2. So yeah, we've still got 5 or 6 picks left, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's ridiculous. You look at our offense now. Forgetting the line because we've only got 3 really, but we've got a quarterback for the next 10 years.
Ryder, welcome back.
All right, how's it going?
Pretty solid.
So I was able to see the Grayson pick and the Conley pick.
You like those selections?
What happened? Have any others been picked?
don't think so. The Browns are signed Clark.
No, was Conley the last
Oh,
one?
I think Conley was the last one.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess the Saints
Where
have their guy of the future.
Yeah, I think so. I think he needs a little coaching, but as Ken said, there's a few better teachers than. It is. It's like Garoppolo last year with Brady as well, isn't it? So
Yeah.
and he's from a similarly small school as well.
Yeah, should be interesting to see how he develops. And I do like the Conley pick.
Was Randy Gregory the last guy in that group?
Was that Stuart?
Was Gregory the last pick in the green room?
I think so.
Sorry, Ryder, what were you saying?
The Conley pick, I think it right here is a pretty good spot for him. He has, he's got burner speed. He's a little bit rough as far as route tree goes, but I mean, he's got all the physical traits you want and soft hands.
Yeah. Did you know? I noticed it mentioned to Ken. Garrett Grayson was the 75th pick.
Yeah. Good pick.
Yeah. The Russell Wilson selection. Where's Nebraska, Ryder?
Huh? What was that?
Who do you think the Browns go? 77. Ken? Ryder?
There, Stuart's back.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my.
Maybe a wide receiver. Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon's probably not gonna. I don't know if he's even gonna play again at this rate.
I don't think he's going to show his face in Cleveland again if he does.
Just an anchor dragging him down.
I can't really think where else they go. Unless they're...
No.
I haven't seen it yet.
No, mate. Wow.
Yeah, running back.
No way. I thought they already
Didn't
had
get
two
Terrence
people.
West and Isaiah Crowell last year?
Yeah.
Wow.
I heard they are trying to, or at least a little while ago, they were trying to move Curl.
They tried to move him on trade deadline, didn't they?
Yeah. Wow, though.
I can't remember where to. Wow, that's an interesting pick. It's a different pick as well. It's a different running back to Crowell and West, Terrence West.
What do they do with this group? I
I
mean,
don't know.
but they already got two guys who showed quite a bit of promise last year, and then Duke Johnson, he's had a great season in Miami, so.
And they still haven't drafted the wide receiver. It's like they needed a wide receiver in last year's draft. And they didn't draft one, did they?
Not that I can recall. I mean, I'm looking at Johnson now. They just showed him kicking, having a kick return? Could he be the kick return specialist too?
Yeah, he might be.
But I think it's like with Lockett. If you're taking a kick return in the third round, you're hoping he contributes on offense.
Right.
So you'd expect him to move one of the running backs. We have 6 picks left. It's been clarified. 130, 134, 170, 209, and 214. So. And 134, 209, and 214 cannot be traded because they're comp picks.
Right.
So 3 of our picks can be traded, 3 of them can't be traded. Lockett has smaller hands than Paul Richardson. I don't know what significance that is, but. So where do you think the Saints are going to go after getting their quarterback of the future? Like we said, Ken at 75, Sammy Coates.
That's a good value right there. They need that receiver.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still on the board at this point.
Mm. He's inconsistent hands, but he gets deep and he gets separation consistently. And with Nick Marshall as quarterback, it wasn't bad. I mean, where else they need? They don't really need the corners anymore. They've got the safeties. Is it Bird and Vaccaro?
Right.
O-line probably set. They probably would be wide receiver. Unless they get a backup for Ingram. But who would that be? I think it's too early for Langford, probably, isn't it? The running back, Mike Davis as well.
Yeah. Mel Kiper's listed guard as a need for the Saints, and I know Pete's more of a tackle. Are they just gonna?
Yeah.
Are they just gonna slide Pete?
Unger. They traded Grubbs, was it? They traded Grubbs to Kansas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vikings again traded back.
Who, the Vikings? The Vikings are traded back.
My feed is on commercial right now, so I got nothing.
Just making the pick now on mine. PJ.
Okay.
PJ Williams, 6 foot 190. That's interesting pick.
Took a long time for him to get off the board. Wish we had taken him instead of Frank Clark.
So do you think that's the pick with Brandon Brown and not having long left? Do you think not much left in the tank probably?
Yeah, maybe Browner. I mean, what did Browner get? Was it just
3 years?
It was 3 years. Okay.
49ers now.
Oh, the 49ers get a pass rusher again.
Eli, damn.
Have they gotten anybody in the middle?
They're just going to rush you to death. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that means that's it for Tank Carradine and
Okoye.
their other guys.
Damn. Eli's in the AFC West.
He'll be a disruptive guy.
Yeah. Especially in space, like we said earlier.
Yep.
I would have taken them at 63, but I'm not going to go back there. The Detroit pick is already in. There seems to be trades they're not announcing on NFL Network.
Yeah. Neither here on ESPN.
Alright, guys. Well, I've got to check out, so I'll talk to you guys later.
I'll message you on Twitter tomorrow at some point.
Great.
Okay. Cheers for joining us, Ryder.
Yep. Actually, I think I'm going to stay for this Lions pick. Looks like it's going to come in any second.
It's already come in, and it's my boy.
Alex Carter.
Oh, another guy that probably would have helped us out. All right. Yep. Talk to you later.
See you later.
See you, Ryder.
Yeah, with no Seahawks pick coming, I'll probably just stop the broadcast now as well, to be honest.
Okay.
We can still do the hangout, but I think it's going to wrap up now. So, Frank Clark and Tyler Lockett are the first two picks this year, so we've got tomorrow 6 picks. Ryder seems to have fallen. That is one way to make an exit. Yeah, so we're going to 6 picks. He's still going. He's still falling.
Ryder, you're still with us.
Tomorrow. You think offensive line will be one of the first ones, right?
Oh, God, I hope so. We got Patrick Lewis starting at center right now.
It's all right. With Aaron Donald in week 1, he'll be fine.
Oh, jeez. There needs to be a better fix.
Buffalo Bills. John Miller, that's a guy that I liked. Not in the 3rd round, but that's a decent pick that from the Bills. There's some player. Yeah, we need to start Frank Clark in it, but it's hard to shake when there's
really
players again in the 3rd round. So Lockett's the preferred pick so far, then, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Much bigger fan. Yeah.
Sign off the broadcast now, so thanks for joining us if you did, and if you're watching it, hope you enjoyed the 3-4 hours on demand, because there's currently no viewers, so some people are going to be lucky when they find this on YouTube tomorrow. Right, cheers for signing on, Ken, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one, Stuart.
Yeah,